Hello, everyone, and welcome to AMX Global Season 4. You're joining us tonight on a lovely Saturday where we'll be going underway with Race 18 in AMX 1 here at Indianapolis Motor Raceway. Well, the drivers tonight will be driving the Nascar XFINITY class cars. But we'll get into that just a little bit. Of course, we're going to have a wonderful night of races ahead of us, and let's get ourselves real acquainted quickly. Coming up to us right now, you're joined here by me. Hello everyone, it's me, Damon, of course, and I'm joined here by Connor. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, good mate, yourself?
I'm looking forward to it. You and I have both done NASCAR before a couple of weeks ago, and we're back with another another night of extreme, intense oval racing. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good combo. We've got the Xfinity car here first at Indianapolis, which is a very famous racetrack. We see the Indy 500 here every year, and obviously the Xfinity cars, probably one of the best cars in the game in my own, opinion. But yeah, I love the car and love the track, so it should be good fun for this first round.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, quick note before I point out, of course, our socials are right down there. You can check us out from Instagram, Twitch, X, formerly known as Twitter, our Discord server, our YouTube channel, as well as our website. And for instant short form content, we do have a TikTok as well. So let's get into the housekeeping before we head off, because I think we're trying to get this quickly out of the way so we can get into the action as quickly as possible. AMX Global League Season 4 overview. AMX Global running from January 27th all the way until April 21st. We did take a break last week, but we're back and the races are in full session. Season prize pool of $20,000 as well as next level gear. The race format, qualifier, 20 minutes. Fastest lap in the qualifier will then go to a reverse grid order for the first heat. And the results from the first heat will then translate to another reverse grid shuffle into Heat 2, which is another 20 minutes. Prize amounts will be the same for every session. Driver cams are of course required. We do have a Zoom call for all the drivers later on. Payout balances over $100 will be paid out to the drivers every month. Our race days are of course on Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday, and you can sign up to race anytime at amxrace.com. Our schedule is as follows. We are running on Greenwich Mean Time. So AMX 1 will be running at 5:50 p.m. on all 3 days, while AMX 10 will follow suit at 7:20 p.m. on all 3 days as well. Our AMX 1 race prize pool, qualifying, Heat 1 and Heat 2 will all have the same rewards for every drivers. $7 if you finish first in all 3 sessions, and it goes all the way down to 20 cents for 15th. The difference, of course, Heat 1, during the actual races themselves, you will get $1 extra per race for getting the fastest lap in every session. Our top 12 right now, Maurizio Lozano is well at the top of the pool. Raced in 8 races and won 2 of them, so he's got $104 in his purse right now. Lois Regnier just behind him with $87 purse, raced in 3 races and won 3 of them. Diego Villarreal, of course, a very well-known driver. We love to see him race. Sometimes he's won in almost every race, with the exception of 4 sessions. And he's backed up a pretty nice purse. We have Connor Healy in 4th, Facundo Rago in 5th, Gerardo Ramos in 6th, Mateus Mercado in 7th, Fabien Uger in 8th, Lautaro Gayoso in 9th, Fabrizio Belziti in 10th, Daniel Antunes in 11th, and Lucas Whirl in 12th. And here are our current top 10. Facundo Rago is in 2nd place with 71.3 points, with Gayoso about 30 points behind. Actually moved up 2 places from last time we saw. Fabrizio Belziti is in 4th, but our current leader in P1, about a 3-point gap, is Connor Healy. Okay, I'm gonna send it over to you, Connor, for our track and car info. So take it away.
Thank you, mate. Good to be back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first track guide for the back of the season, I guess. So here we are, Indianapolis, a very famous racetrack. We've been here 0 times, actually, so this will be the first time here. Speedway, US of A. We've been to the US so many times. We're actually here for the whole night, going to Sebring as the next round as well. But it opened in 1909 and it's 4Ks long, so it's actually a really big oval. It's very similar to your Daytona kind of size, and yeah, it's a very tricky track, 4 corners. Turn 1 will be very hard for this car to get the nose pointed in nice and tight through there, and then 2 and 3 be a bit of a challenge. Then 4 you'll have to try and get the run back onto the back straight. So that's our track for tonight, and the car in question is this one, the NASCAR XFINITY class. This is basically the stepping stone to get into the Cup car. So you have the truck car, the XFINITY, then you have the Cup car. So it has 650 horsepower, rear wheel drive, 1500 kilos, and a manual gearbox. I'm pretty sure it's a 4-speed dog box. Really nice car. It's got some nice weight. How it rolls is very interesting. I think it's the only car out of the XFINITY, the Cup and the truck, that rolls as much as this thing. So it's good fun to throw around a good oval. So it should be good fun here tonight, Damon.
Thank you very much, Connor. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to our races tonight. Of course, you can see all the drivers on screen for now, all the participants of tonight getting ready for qualifying. Actually, they're already in qualifying now. We'll be joining them in just a little bit. So I'm really looking forward to these. I've actually never seen a NASCAR XFINITY race, so it'll be an experience, I think, for me. You seem to know quite a lot about these cars. I'm assuming you've driven them around quite a lot. So Connor taught me through exactly like what makes these cars so unique.
Yeah, so they're, like you said in the session, not the session, the intro with the car, it's got a lot of body roll to it. So when you go from a GT car to this thing, you watch the body roll and the pitch of this car, the nose would dive under brakes, but then the back end's going to have to try and find as much grip as it can. The tyres go off really quickly in this car as well, Damon. They don't really have this. We just see it smack the wall and he's going to reset the pits. But yeah, the tyres go off really quickly in this car, but there's a lot of body roll to it. Like I said look how close they get to that wall as well. I forgot to mention that in the track as well. Coming out of the last corner, it's going to be a lot of understeer if they burn off those tyres really quickly. The front right will be a bit of a tricky situation for these guys. It won't be as easy as a lot of people would think it would be to go around an oval. They've got to find the right line to keep that front right tyre there, so it doesn't burn off and they just end up hitting a wall.
Yeah, and from what it looks like right now, I think you can already see them sliding. And Indianapolis in particular, I think the bankings aren't really as steep as some of the other oval tracks that we might be more familiar with. And it's, especially with certain parts of the track being relatively slow, because you have to brake for turns like turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3. You do actually have to brake for it, or slow down at least. So it'll be a pretty decent test. A lot different than Daytona, I believe.
Yeah, completely different. Daytona's keep your foot matched to the throttle and, never lift. And then around here, it's a lot of braking, like you said. But it'll be a lot from a tyre-saving race. We haven't really seen one of those yet. We've seen a couple of street stock races, but I think when it comes down to that, it's a little bit different how the tyre works and how the car moves around. But I feel like these guys will be a lot more familiar with this car. We see this car go live a lot in the officials. They've been at Auto Club all week. I've been smashing them out, trying to get the 3 to 4K. So yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge to get the iRating up, just because how competitive it is in this class. Everyone would think it's the Cup car, but I find everyone all likes jump in the XFINITY car and really give it a good bash.
Yeah, and so this is my personal take. I think it's extremely odd that uh,
Mm-hmm.
Toyota's
Tread
entry
lightly.
into NASCAR Xfinity is a Supra. Like it's the last car I would expect.
Yeah, I think it's it was a bit of a shock to the system for me when it first came out, but I've actually grown to it, and that's what I actually run now is the Supra. So I think it's a big shock because we see the Cup car being a Camry. So yeah, it is a bit of a different body style and different look to the car, but I really like it. I think it's a good way to get Toyota's branding out there from two sides of it, isn't it? Really, they can support the Camry and the Supra. Let's be honest, the Supra is a BMW. That's another controversial piece of car out there, but I mean it's not controversial; it's a fact. But yeah, I think the Supra is a really good looking car, and I think it's if it was on a Cup car, it'd be a bit weird looking, but we'll never know. We'll never know.
Yeah, definitely. Some people in the comments as well are greeting everybody. What's up, everybody? You're just joining us, so we've got a pretty long night ahead of us. Got a couple of good hours of racing in store for everyone right now, and we've talked a lot about the track and the cars, but we're about 12 and a half minutes into qualifying. We haven't actually talked about the lap times right now for these drivers. About 7/10 of a second are separating all seven of them, so they're really close to one another. But as you mentioned before, it's going to be really hard to be able to manage tires as well. And you've seen a couple of drivers already nudging the walls of the track, like we just saw right there. I think that I mean Facundo Rago in the Mustang, yeah. And every time you hit that wall, it's just okay, lap's dead. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot more often.
Yeah, it's if I'm in turn 4, it's not as hard as 1, 2, and 3, but if you get down the throttle too early, the car will just drift, and you've got to try and counter it by either putting a lot more throttle into it to try and get it to rotate, or put more steering in, which cooks the front right tyre more. So you've got to pick either to balance out the car a little bit. Here's our man who's in P1 at the moment, and he's supporting St. Patrick's Day as well. Big fan. So I love the big hat. Riding on board with him, and we can see him return forward, just been talking about with the understeer. Let's see if he does this correctly, and I think he would. Drives off the corner. So he goes nice and patient with that Damon, just really patient until the car's really squared up. He starts to put the foot in it, and yeah, he's driving off that corner really nicely. Let's see if he increases lap time. I don't think he does. But yeah, it should be an interesting combo for tonight, for sure.
Yeah, and if you ever talk to people who don't really watch NASCAR and they see cars driving around the oval, they would probably think like, it can't be that hard to just drive fast and turn left. But every single track has its own nuances, and of course, Indianapolis with its 4 corners is one that we definitely have to look out for. Very smooth on that entry there right now. You definitely have to let off quite early on and then get on the power as early as possible. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happened. I hope it'll be incident-free this time around, but considering what we saw last time with the 80s NASCAR cars, probably could expect a little bit of action going on, don't you think?
Yeah, I think we'll definitely get some action. I can imagine it's going to probably be a bit more spread out. We just see Connor Healy just go straight to the top with a 43.2. He's just improved his lap by 2/10, which is a huge gain. So that'll be quite hard to beat for the rest of the field. I think he's actually going to pull over after that lap. But I completely lost all train of thought. But yeah, I think it's going to be one of those. I think it's going to be one of these tracks where we see them spread out quite quickly, just because of that tyre degradation. Will be quite interesting to see with these drivers that are either new to ovals in general, or to people that are new to the Xfinity running on board with the American. You can talk about this because I feel like I've been talking non-stop, David. My apologies.
Yeah, Connor Healy there, channeling the luck of the Irish for that fastest lap right now. And yeah, you did mention that the cars will definitely be spread out. I'm hoping that it'll be pretty close, but you do definitely see how some of these drivers are taking these corners and the way that they're taking. I can see that overcooked it. Kevin Garcia that overcooked it just a little bit and then immediately just into the wall. And it's really, really difficult to gauge when exactly you can step on the throttle because you want to be on the throttle as much as possible throughout this track, right? There's no particular spot where like maybe I can let off a little bit sooner. I'll probably gain enough speed because it affects your exit speed and then your entry speed into the next turn immediately.
Yeah, definitely. It's pardon me. It's more like it's either you compromise your entry or you compromise your exit. You can't really go middle ground because the moment you go middle ground, you're just mid everywhere, and you're like, well, I'm not gaining anywhere. I'm just mid. So you've got to have this balance between around the whole track where you've got to go, okay, there's got to be a corner here where I'm going to set up the run, which will be probably the exit of turn 4, the exit turn 2, probably then entry-wise you probably want to set up for 3 and 1, being more entry. We're just coming into 4 here. Only IndyCars can go 4-5 around here. Yeah, I agree. IndyCars are full throttle, but they are scary around here. If you get a sniff of understeer, that's your life is gone. But yeah, turn 3 here, just firing in the inside and driver on the exit. But yeah, I think IndyCars is definitely a very good topic to talk about. Obviously, we've got the Xfinity here tonight, which we only see recently that the Cup cars went to the road course around here. I think it was two years ago, where the Indy cars actually lined up with the NASCARs around here. And we saw a really cool collab by Shane Van Gisbergen and Scott McLaughlin meeting up there, and a heap of other collabs going there as well for those road course into, you know, I guess crossovers you could call it, when we had I think an LMP1 driver come across, we had Kimi Räikkönen come across the NASCAR around for a couple of rounds, Jenson Button. So I think NASCAR is starting to become this branch where people can go, okay, I can go drive a NASCAR for a weekend, then go back to my normal day job. When I mean normal day job, I've probably made an LMP1 and Formula 1 car, IndyCar, I think a lot of brands. So it should be interesting to see the development for these next couple of years for NASCAR. I think I've already talked about this with another commentator, either on AMX or another Australian broadcast or podcast, but it should be really interesting to see the evolution of NASCAR, and it's good to watch it. We can just see 116 just absolutely huge slide out of 4, and I was talking about the tyre there, Damon. It's going to be those little slides there, that's going to be critical at the end of the race.
Yeah, and you consider the fact that all things considered, they're not racing for very long, but it's just a very brutal race on one specific tire for all these cars that, like, managing it is going to be the biggest priority aside from going fast.
Oh, we love going fast though. Everyone loves going fast.
Oh, of course. Of course we love going fast. I mean, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't the case, right?
That's it. So we should be back. See if our comms are all good now. So comms are all good now. I don't think they're guttering anymore, so apologies ladies and gentlemen. There's some technical difficulties. The buttons are not ready. They're not warm for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get warm by probably round 2. But everyone's fresh back to it. We took a week off, and see what happens when we take a week off. Everything goes to maintenance. But we're going to start our race out here tonight with the American and the Canadian starting P1 and P2. So they're going to lead us down to turn 1, and this is going to be our first race back. AMX 1, we're going live again.
Green flag, green flag.
All right, here we go. Green flags are out. Leo Mura taking a quick lead right now, but of course Kevin Garcia is right behind him. Diego Villarreal actually conceding a couple of positions, took the wrong line there. He's going to have to rejoin the train a bit late. Gives Connor Healy time to catch up to him, and now he rounds out the back of the train. Whether or not this train itself will be able to hold the position and give all drivers time to catch up to one another is another thing entirely. We have to see whether or not their opening lap is good, especially for turn 4, because as we've seen before, you can overcook it and it will be costly to you.
Sure, we see Kevin Garcia being very cautious on the first lap, just getting some nice entries there. Aggressive on turn 4 there, just getting some nice entry speed into there, and he's got a great run on to Leo now onto the back straight. Meanwhile, on board with Hun, just it's right on the, we're actually on the rear bumper of him actually, so my apologies. And here's the setup for tonight. We're on the chair setup. I remember the good old days with the seat moving around, so this should be interesting to watch. And then we can see there's some movement. I love the old seat setup. And he's just coming out of 2? Yeah, 2. I keep getting confused with the track. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. But out into the exit now. We've got a good exit there. He's going to try and catch Garcia here. He's going to try and get onto the back here and get the slipstream and pull his way up to Leo, who's leading the race very comfortably at the moment, with 4/10 on Garcia at the moment. So if he can keep that gap nice and comfortable, he could have a good chance of winning here tonight. Connor Healy in the background just lurking there. We've seen him be very confident just in these NASCARs in general. So I'm interested to see what his tactic here is tonight. We've already talked about the tyre degradation, so yeah, I'm quite interested, Dave.
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of in a position where, like, seems like we might have something along the lines of what happened the last time we took NASCARs around ovals, just waiting to capitalize on other people's mistakes. And being in the front of the train does give you quite a bit of pressure, because you're seeing the train at the back there, and you're the one setting the pace. So it might be difficult for you. As you see Gayoso, they're trying to make a move on Jay Han-An. Will he be able to make it stick right now? It looks like it is. He might be forcing Han-An a little bit wide, but they're both avoiding the wall very nicely there. Gayoso just making that pass clean and without incident, so good on him as well. You see how close these drivers are to the outer wall of the speedway, and just like that, overtaking in this particular configuration on this particular track is probably one of the scariest things in NASCAR.
Yeah, it's definitely not it's not one of these tracks where it's like Daytona, where you can commit just a little bit and then still be there. It's more you need to commit fully, get the car there and try and get some power down and get that exit, and you need to set up the passes as well. You don't really want to make these mistakes when you're going for a pass. So we're just riding on board with Arn now, and yeah, he got overtaken there by Gayoso here, and I was talking about him before. I think my mic just went to absolute I don't know, did something weird, but we saw him at the end of the season being very pacey, so I'm interested to see where Gayoso comes back here with AMX 1. Does he go up the inside here? He's got a chance, and yes he does, goes straight up the inside, takes a move. Garcia though going nice and high though, getting a better understeer, so Ahan's going to be up the inside again, and he's going to get the move done. So there's 3 gone as well. Connor Healy's going to have a look now too. Garcia on the outside being nice and polite there, so Garcia just getting absolutely swamped there by all the drivers there.
And it really shows you how punishing making mistakes on a track that's not particularly long and it's very fast. So one mistake immediately costed Kevin Garcia all of his positions. He's now dropped to the back of the pack, and everyone's just capitalized on it because they're all so close together. See, Hanan is now looking onto the back of Gayoso and seeing if he can make something happen. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next. Meanwhile, Leo Mora is actually extending the gap in front of him quite substantially. The cars have not been able to really utilize the slipstream to its absolute limit. With the exception of Hanan and Gayoso here. Gayoso going to the Shadow Realm every once in a while just to make sure he's still around. And right now, second and third place are clearing the pack just a little bit. We'll have to see whether or not Rago and Healy can actually make it up and catch up to them.
Yeah, I was going to say Rago has probably got a chance in here. He's still there, but I'd say he's just saving that tiny little bit of tyre there. Same with Healy, I don't think they're really pushing the cars too much on just how the car's moving around at the moment. I think Gayoso is really just trying to get up to the front so he can block later on. You can see there Gayoso running wide, then trying to get that apex a bit later. It does come with some consequences on some tracks, but it could work around here for that last corner. So we're just on the start-finish straight now, and it looks like Leo, the Canadian, really in touch here. He's got 2 tenths in front of these guys, but that comfortable little lead that we talked about. So if he can just keep it there, not really make any mistakes, he's got a chance. And he's went wide, and look at this, Gayoso on the back. What a sensational noise that one is. I love listening to that. Gayoso though. Contact. Huge contact. Gayoso on the grass. Now he's off the grass now. He's back on the tarmac. So he's going to have to try and find some time back and get a bit of pace back in that car. Going to lose all the momentum. So let's see what he can do there, Damon.
Oh my god, I think what happened was that Gayoso did try to go low, but he didn't have enough track on the low side for Mura, and Mura just cut him across and tried to block, but they were already a little bit close to each other and ended up making contact. Leo Mura is saving his position right now, but Han is taking this opportunity to catch up right to the tail of his bumper right now. We'll have to see whether he makes a move. The gap between them is almost minute compared to the rest of the pack right now. And wow, we're off to a great start right now. Hanan coming, going high, trying to see if he can make it a pass. He is in the slipstream, does have a great exit out of that turn. Pulling along side by side, we'll have to see whether or not he'll be able to make a stick as they're coming into, I believe this is turn 3 right now. Oh, the contact that was so close, but Leo Mora does have to lift off and concedes the position for Hanan. So Hanan actually doing really well for himself, moving up the pack, and now we go into the picture of the live timing of the incident involving Gayoso. You can see he tries to go low, but Leo Mora is already cutting across just a little bit, ended up tapping them, almost pitting Mura, but Gayoso ends up the biggest loser of that exchange, going onto the grass. And Connor Healy is right now just behind Leo and Rago. He is also trying to make a move on himself, and oh my god, this is the longest I've ever talked. There's a bunch of incidents going back to back with each other right now. And here comes Rago on high, making the pass stick, and Leo Mura is just slowly losing it because he's giving Connor Healy even more time to make an opportunity. He's going high. Whether or not he'll be able to block it, we'll have to wait and see. And Connor Healy just lets off. He doesn't want to avoid. He doesn't want to cause any unnecessary incident. As I say that, he goes low and it takes the exit much faster than Mura does. And now he has the inside coming up to Leo Mura, making the pass. He's now in 3rd place, and Mura just lost 3 positions in the space of 1 lap.
Yeah, we talked about those tyres, and we could see Leo Mora just losing all tyre there, and now he's trying to find a bit of momentum back in the car because he's lost it after that one pass. I think that's Gayoso around the outside trying to get the grip around the outside, and he's found it. He's found it in the marble somehow, so well done there, but he got it the grip mid-corner, so Gayoso's just went straight around the outside with ease, and now Diego Varel is going to set up a position as well. Actually, Leo Mora might be okay. I think he might be covered for 2 corners, and Diego might be on the back of him, and Diego might go for the inside. He does indeed. Oh, just has a look. We talked about those moves. You know, you've got to be committed because the moment I'll just shut up and let Diego drive, and looks like he just went straight up the inside and got that move done very well. And
You could see there with we were talking about the passing. We saw, I think it was Rago just being very straight up the inside and very committed, and we can see that it's very fair. But when Diego just puts the nose there, it's so much confusion for both drivers. It's like, okay, do I back out? Do I stay there? It's very hard for both drivers to understand sometimes, and sometimes there's an incident. But if you just put the nose there, for your other competitor, it's so hard to know. But for Diego, he knew what he was doing, obviously. So he got the win out of that. Han on top at the moment, getting great drive out of this car at the moment. 9/10 in front. He's almost at a slipstream range. So Connor Healy and Rago might be in a little bit of trouble here. Han sticking really well with this car. The tyres are doing well. We saw with Connor Healy looking after the tyres really well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Connor Healy just drives straight up to the back of these two and get some passes done. But I think Connor needs to push Rago up to Han at the moment. I don't think he can really make a move and catch Han at the moment. I think it's a bit of a risk factor at the moment. And you can see here Han just on the steering. You can see those twitches every now and then. There's a twitch there. And he's just trying to find every bit of grip at the moment, Damon.
Yeah, and wow, we've been talking for a while. There was just you and me both having extremely long bursts of where there's so much stuff happening that you're trying to process everything, and then more stuff piles on top of it. As we can see, Leo Mura, I think he's at the point where like his race is done, because we saw him take the corners and not the greatest lines from his particular thing. I think his tires probably just done and dusted, and you can see even at even in the course that even in a course that is this short, these cars are still pushing 300 Ks at the end of the start-finish straight. So it is still a very scary experience. And at this point in time, Rago, as you were mentioning, he was out of the slipstream. Now he's back in it, and he's pulling up to the tail of Hanan. Hanan is going to have to try his best to keep him off of his tail, but you can see just how much, a little bit tighter is the line that Rago takes compared to Hanan.
Yeah, I think with Rago, we just saw him wave and go, no, don't put the camera on. I think he's in concentration phase, I call it. Or we can see Han just going wide. Oh, big slide as well on the exit. So that will by the rear, so we can watch out of 4. Watch how he has little grip on exit. Watch this. So Rago's gotten the grip, and you can just see that Han was just sliding the car the whole way out. He just had no grip on that rear end. He had heaps of grip on the front, and you can see Rago's just driving straight up to the back of him with ease. Kind of Healy's still there as well. So this battle's definitely not finished at the moment. And you can see here with Rago's locked in at the moment. You can see that car's really agreeing with his driving style at the moment. You can see Han's really diving the car into the corners and just really struggling on the exit. But at the same time of saying that, we were just talking about his rears getting a little bit too much temperature and sliding out of 4. So it could be worth using those front tyres a little bit and start to produce a little bit of oversteer on those front tyres. Rago though, look at those apexes. He's nailing those, getting in the right amount of lift, and he's nailing this at the moment, Daniel.
Yeah, we saw the picture in picture just now. That was the battle for P4 between Gayoso and Diego Villarreal. We see Diego Villarreal actually tapping the walls just a little bit there, but not losing too much pace. And here we go to start finish straight. He's right, Rago here, right on top of the tail of Hanan. Might see if he can make a move into turn 1 and just goes for the dive. They're pulling along side by side. Hanan just has to give that position away. He doesn't have enough grip in his front tires to actually try and maintain as much speed as he can. And this will give Connor Healy time for him to catch up.
Yeah, I guess Rago has been a bit of a wild card of tonight. We've always talked about Connor Healy being a very strong driver, but I think tonight Rago is definitely in his element. We saw him at Talladega being very strong. So this could be one of his tracks, and he too could be another good one to watch, seeing that these battles at the moment are really good. And look at Han's grip. He's just found all that grip back because he's got a bit of a marker now. He knows where Rago's going, so he can kind of follow Rago and use him as a marker to go, okay, maybe I'm doing a couple of things wrong in my driving style. What if I copy for a little bit? So that's kind of what I do as a driver. I kind of go, okay, am I doing something wrong? Am I doing something right? So watch these two. Look at the line. Exactly the same. Han's trying to follow it to the T. You could see just how he was driving into that corner. A little bit deep, but he was Yeah, look at that. Bang on. I love it when I'm right. But yeah, good drive out of there for Rago.
Yeah, and then that attack almost stopped him in his tracks right now. Hanan unable to make any more headway past Rago, and Rago is just cruising right now. We're into the last quarter of Heat 1 at the moment, but Hanan is not giving up the assault onto Rago. A crucial mistake from any of these drivers right now could spell the end of their race. You can see right now, the way these cars are built, I'm talking specifically about their body shells because they're asymmetrical and they're more for right leaning than most cars. It does really look like they're drifting all over the place, even though they're keeping it completely under control. You see Hananda is still trying to see where he can improve on his pace, catching up to Rago. Connor Healy is still on the back, again biding his time, waiting for an opportunity to strike. Hananda is doing a really good job of staying within the slipstream, of course, but tires, again, we go back to it, whether or not they'll actually be able to last long enough for him to mount an opportunistic attack it's tough to call. As I say that right now, Hanan just pulling onto the side there. Rago braked quite a lot there.
Yeah, I think Rago's starting to feel those, I think those rears are starting to go on him. I think he's using a lot of those, I think this is how I'm kind of thinking of the mindset at the moment. I think Rago's using a lot of the rear tyre to get the car to turn at the moment. Maybe not using as much, but he's being smooth on the throttle to get out the corners. Con is just throwing the car into the corner, then using the back end for the exit. So he's got this balance in the car at the moment. If he can get that under control where he can have a 50-50, that's going to be very strong in the second race if he can get that down pat. But at the moment, Rago is just a bit slower in the corner, hit the apex, and just plants his foot on the exit. And you can see the driving style when you're right on board with these two. The Rago slows the car up, and plants his foot. Then you can see Hans. In 3, it's really working, but it's where 4 you really notice it. Oh, Hans just hit that wall. He's going to have massive understeer. Healy comes straight into this equation now. Healy on the back. He's in the slipstream, 4 tenths off. He should be down to 3 tenths, 4.5 tenths. He's going to keep dropping. To 3 tenths. St. Paddy's Day hat on top of his head. Love the hat. I need one of those. And there's 3 tenths there. So this battle just went from P1, a P1 battle, to P1, P2, and P3 battle now.
Yeah, I agree. We did see Gayoso and Villarreal behind us trading places as well. So they're having a battle of their own, but Villarreal ended up having to back off, giving Gayoso time to extend the gap. We would be looking at them, but right now, what is our primary focus is the battle right now for P1. You can see Hanan made one small mistake and ended up giving Connor Healy time to catch up, and now he's part of the slipstream train. About a second is splitting these cars from each other. And we've about 3 laps to go, less than 3 laps in fact. We definitely might see something within the last 5% of the race.
Yeah, I think if Rago gets a little bit of understeer, Hans straight onto it. I don't think he's giving him much time to breathe. So, and I think we're going to focus our eyes on here for the battle for P4 at the moment. So we got Gayoso here, car 7 right in front of us, and then we got Doral right behind. Both of these drivers are very veteran drivers in AMX. I pretty much see these guys either in AMX 1 or AMX 10. Running on board with Diago. And these guys, like you said, they're having a good little battle. So I think that's the first time we've seen Gayoso's camera, if I'm not wrong. I feel like I haven't seen his camera much unless he's changed the camera angle, apartment, or something like that. But yeah, it looks like they're having a good battle. Or you see Brow just sliding the car in, using all that front tyre and just using the back end. Oh, you slap that wall. If I've ever seen a slap a wall, oh, Kevin Garcia in the background just getting a massive tank slapper in the background. I think he saved it, but I think he might have just missed that wall by a couple of mils there. Rago back up front though. I really can't take my eyes off this battle at the moment, Damon.
Yeah, definitely. And you can definitely see when a car is going to hit a wall just by the way they exit the corner, right? from what we saw just now, we saw Villarreal going way wide, understeering, and then immediately my brain just went like, yep, he's going to hit that wall and it's not going to be pretty. But so far, incident-free, great driving from everyone. This battle for P1 does seem to be coming to a head, and I think Rago will probably take it quite easily right now, as long as he can keep it steady. We are coming up to a white flag soon enough when we go into the final lap of the race. Here we are. And Hanan, he's got one lap, one shot to make an opportunity. He better make it count. But I don't think he's close enough.
I think the one thing that will be running in the back of their minds at the moment, they're going, okay, I'm confident with the car, I'm confident with the track, I'm sorted. But we all know with oval racing, if you take your eyes off for a second, you're just going to end up in that wall because you lose concentration for a second. You're going, oh, I've won the race. No, until you get around the last corner of the race, you have not won the race. So I reckon these guys will start to get really confident with this last corner, but it will catch out these guys very easily if they take their eyes off it. Rago into the last corner though. I'm going to not say, yep, there we go. Race 1 of AMX 1. He's taken the win and he's kind of happy with it. You can see with a shrug. He went, oh yeah, that's alright. But yeah, race 1, winner.
Congratulations to Facundo Rago for winning Heat 1. As I'm reading the comments right now, we're not jinxing any crashes today. Don't worry about it. At least not for now, of course. Things could change later in the day. But Rago cinching that win pretty easily, pretty handily as well, in front of Jehan An and Connor Healy rounding up the podium, with Gayoso winning that exchange with Villarreal and taking P4 away from him. So our top 5 right now is of course going to be Rago in first, Hanan in second, Connor Healy in third, Gayoso in fourth, Villarreal in 5th with Kevin Garcia and Leo Mura. I think Leo just lost his tires like really early on into the race, which is why the delta between these drivers is really wide. But he will have another opportunity. He will be starting in front for Heat 2. And I think what's happening is that it probably almost be a mirror of what happened at the start of Heat 1, where Leo Mura is going to be in front, so is Kevin Garcia, Connor Healy is going to be rounding out the back. It's almost a perfect mirror, but we'll see if the same thing happens this time around.
Yeah, I think the only difference is the top 3 actually, I think they're actually swapped around, so makes it quite interesting. I think if Connor Healy gets a bit of breathing room, like out front, I think he will run away with it. We saw him struggle with the tyres being in that slipstream. He just understeered it quite a bit, obviously with that slipstream giving you a lot of understeer and really giving you a lot of temperatures into those front tyres. You're not going to get as much grip in those front tyres. So it's going to be interesting to see what Connor Healy can do. But we saw Rago just drive away right at the end there. He really had control over the car. But we have Han as well, who, yeah, he was a fighter through there. He was out front there for a long time. Then you had Rago come around the outside and take P1 off him. So I can imagine Han's ready to hunt down P1 again.
Yeah, but I think he is going to be pretty satisfied with that result, although P1 on the car is definitely there, as the cars are now out for their parade lap for Heat 2. Now seeing them on the grid, of course, and man, these cars, they sound so good. And it almost makes you think that like the Xfinity cars already have 650 horsepower, then we have the Cup cars with about 800 or 700, 800 horsepower, and you just start thinking about like, what if they were just one class higher? What might happen with these drivers?
Yeah, I was actually asking one of my NASCAR mates the other day. I was like, it'd be interesting to see if these Xfin were actually the top cars, because the Cup cars went such a different direction compared to the Xfinity car, the truck car, with obviously going to sequential and not being asymmetrical. So it's going to be, I said to him, it'd be so interesting if they went back to the old school, but we had a good chat for an hour saying they're probably not going to swap to that old style for a very long time. So anyway, Damon, you can take this away.
Alright, pace cars just entered the pits. That means his drivers are just about ready. We're about to see the green flag wave. There he goes. And Leo Mura again taking the front spot right now. Diego Villarreal is just behind him. Kevin Garcia rounding out top 8, but Hanan is already making a move and taking the position away from him. Kevin Garcia is probably going to let Gayoso through as well. We'll have to see. He's going high right now. Who's cutting into Hanan, and it's a big crash, and immediately 2 drivers get taken out.
Huge contact there with Garcia and Hon there, just getting absolutely smashed out of the race. Hon was in the victory lane with the overall, but right now he's out, he's gone. So right now it's Rago and Healy at the moment. That's your overall battle at the moment. So we'll keep an eye on that. But I think they're actually Rago's actually right behind Healy. I was trying to figure out where everyone was, but yeah, that's the battle for at the moment. We're all up the front though, but Garcia just straight out of the race. That was it. Go on, see you later.
Oh my god. Okay, I apologize to whoever said that I didn't jinx anyone last round, because immediately lap 1, turn 2, there was an incident, and I guess we have to apologize for it, right? We jinxed it pretty badly.
I did say though they would be confident with the track car, and it will buy, and it did. Have a look at this battle for Connor Healy at the moment on car 7, which is Gayoso here with Rago, his teammate, right behind. So he wants to block as much as possible. Gayoso around the outside, car 22, which is Burrell. He's going to be in the middle of this big battle here for the moment. Connor Healy on the inside. He's halfway up the car. He's almost fully past, but Gayoso's going to have to run.
Oh no! Oh no!
Contact. Gayoso's around. See you later, Gayoso. Out of the race. Gone. Healy with huge damage on the front as well, so that's not going to be good for him. The straight line, so he's out of this slipstream battle now. 2 seconds, 3 seconds. He's gone out of that slipstream, so it's Rago's race to lose now. He could go for the 1-2 race, back-to-back wins. I could have just said, but for the moment, Leo and Varel. This could be their breakthrough. This could be, okay, I'm guaranteed a podium at this point, and Real, right up the inside, does not care about the stats, straight up the inside, takes the lead.
Wow, we just lost half the grid, and Peely just spun Gayoso into the pit lane. What an eventful first quarter of this race, and Villarreal seizing the opportunity, goes for the move on Leo Mora. He's now in front. Connor Healy, you can see that his front bumper's completely gone. He's not going to be in contention right now. So it's a matter of whether or not these 3 drivers will be able to hold it. We've still got a whole lot of race to go. So anything can still happen, but Diego Villarreal in a very comfortable position right now. And let's see, all the other 3 drivers are actually leaving the track. So I think they will still want to keep going.
Yeah, I think they've kind of went well. We're not losing any money at the end of the day, and I'm just looking in the chat, going, go, Diego, my money is on you. And then someone puts, how much did you bet? Question mark. So that's the big question at AMX at the moment. How much did you bet? Hey, how much did you bet? But Diego out front now at the moment. 6/10 in front. He's got Rago, I had to stop there. $69 is the bet at the moment. But Rago right on the back of him. We saw him take that win at the start and beat Hon right at the end of that race. So he's got a driver that knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. So this will be Diego's time to shine. He can't burn those tyres up. He needs to keep those tyres in check. He needs to not burn them up straight away and get scared of Rago, because we saw with Rago, he was the best one with tyres. By far, he was the best one. So Diego just needs to really just sit there and just let Rago go past and just cook his tyres on the outside line. If Diego can park his car on that inside and put Rago right on the outside, Rago's going to heat up those outside tyres, and that's Diego's time to shine and really take this race.
Alright, so we're gonna go get to a full screen replay of what happened in lap 1 between Hanan and Kevin Garcia. Thanks to BenQ here. You can see Hanan did slow down quite a bit, giving Garcia a bit of time to come in on the inside, but here comes Garcia. Tries to dive in a little bit to the outside. Hanan is going high, and then immediately just both cars crossing over each other, and then one ends up in the barrier, one ends up in front of another car, and both of them pretty much done and dusted for this race. Hanan immediately going back to the pits, so does Kevin Garcia, and wow, I definitely wasn't expecting that after such a clean first race, but here we are. As we're going back into the race right now, as Connor Healy is... Oh, this is a replay, I believe, but we're going back into the live feed right now. And you didn't mention earlier about how Diego has to be able to maintain his tires, especially in a race like this. And we did see from his driving in Heat 1 that he does tend to get a little bit careless when it comes to turn 4. We've seen him tap the wall a couple of times right now. As here comes Leo Mura is dropping out. He doesn't want to cause any incident with Kevin Garcia right now. Kevin Garcia, of course, a lap down on him, and an incident with both cars is not preferable to any of them. But I mean, Connor, what a start!
What a start! You mean what a crash fest? But no, and we see Leo here just backing off. He's just a nice Canadian. That's all he is. He's just a nice Canadian. He's just. He knows in the back of his mind he's on for P3. It's really his race to lose. He knows that P1 and P2 checked out. There's no point smashing his tyres and just losing all grip and struggling. And I was talking about tyres before. Diego is killing it right now. He is, taking this wide line, then taking a late entry and just not using those tyres at all. He's not using the rears. But my question is, what's those fronts going to be like at the end of the race? Is he going to start using the rear tyres to get the rotation at the end? That's my question at the end of the day. So you were talking about the crashes. We've got Connor Healy out. He's in the pits. Garcia's out there again. Everyone's actually back out there, like I said before. Gaius is actually out. His internet, I think, dropped out. We saw him glitch out. So that's another spot for Garcia. He's going to jump up to P4. So he's not going to lap down. So if the top three make a mistake, Garcia's there to get a podium. That'll be quite interesting to watch as the race develops.
Yeah, definitely. And we did see Leo Mura last race. He cooked his tires really early on and then basically couldn't catch up for the rest of the race. And we're going to go to another full screen replay of what happened to Connor Healy. Also, very early on into the race. Thank you, BenQ here. You can see he's trying to go low and make it past. I believe that is Gayoso. Orago. No, that was Gayoso. Yeah, he goes in on the outside. Gayoso dives in a little bit too deep. They cross over, and Connor Healy crashing him out. Actually pushing him right into the pit lane as he hard impact on the barrier there, almost crashing into the pit lane entry gate. He does go in there, and then, well, you can't reverse out of the pit lane. So, actually, I'm not even sure these cars have a reverse gear. Can you prove me wrong?
Yeah, they do have a reverse gear. They're not that old school. Come on. I know the Americans are a little bit backwards, but we can still joke around with them. But no, I think that's almost like Gayoso fault there, because he's committed to a line, then last minute he's just dropped down, then Connor Healy's coming up because he's on that inside line and understeers, and it just ends up being, I'd put more blame on Gayoso though if he wanted to bring a penalty involved or something like that, because it's like you've committed to a line, then an incident's happened. So that's quite interesting. I love deep diving into incidents, but we'll go back to the race and not him and little, juggle for the rest of the race. So Diego, we were talking about the tyres, him hanging on, and you can see he's locked in on the focus. Rago as well, he's concentrating in, and I said about Rago with his tyres, and you can see he's not working the car. You can see the car drop, then stay dropped the whole time until the exit, then powers out. But you can see with Diego, look at that steering, hard on the steering, still hard, drops out of it, and then straight back on the throttle. So I'd say those fronts would be getting a bit of a workout at the moment. But we'll see how this develops. We have seen it that he has dropped 5/10.
Yeah, so Rago could look to make a move as we're entering the second half of the race right now. Yeah, and you do mention that, like, steering inputs, especially if they're very big and very frequent is going to be the deciding factor whether or not these tires will make it to the rest of the race. As Rago is now pulling up to the tail now, the gap below 3/10, so Rago could look to make a move within this lap or the next. You can see right now he's pulling up. He did slow down just a little bit there as he's taking a deeper line, a tighter line through turn 1. I have to see Diego manages to keep it steady right now. He is under a considerable amount of pressure being in the lead of the race. We'll have to see whether or not he manages to hold on for his dear life, as this is, I think, a battle between, I believe, Ford and Chevrolet, a battle as old as time itself, starting all the way back in the 60s, and now coming to a head here. Oh man, I'm gobsmacked is a word I can use to describe what I'm feeling right now, but race is far from over, and you can see Diego there. Ooh, look how close they are to the wall. Rago there, a little bit of a tight line. Oh man, I need a drink.
Yeah, I know. I've got my iced coffee, so I'm quite enjoying my drink at the moment. I didn't bring a water, so that's my fault. But in the old commentary box. But Rago, I was going to say they have completely different lines out of turn 4. They've got similar lines everywhere else, but you can see here with Diego, he's really trying to get an exit, and that's really good as a leader. You want to get exits. You really don't want to focus on entries. But I always thought a strategy when I was just sitting here watching how they're driving. As a driver, I would almost back Rago up just that tiny little bit, because he's trying to get the exits at the moment. If you could back him up a little bit in before the corner, you know, Diego can get that drive off the corner, and you can look at this. Oh, Diago's in the wall. Oh, Rago's had a heart attack. You can see his hand just go on his chest going, ooh, ooh. That was tight. So Rago's going to take the lead, but that was Diego's time up, and Garcia's in the background. But Diego, to bring this back, he's in that slipstream. He's only 6/10 back, but that's a lot to pull back, and he's hit that wall. So I really wonder how much damage he's got. Has he broken a toe link? Has he broken steering? Has he broken, you know, the back end something? Has he broken the hood? Has he broken the rear bumper, the front bumper? Like, there's so many elements to this car. The damage model being 1-to-1, I feel like with the updates that they do to the NASCARs, it's so extreme. It's amazing to see their progress. Like, I've been building sets for a setup shop all week for Coda, and you hit certain bumps and you just think, oh, the car just doesn't feel right now. It feels a little broken. So these cars are very accurate. It's good to see iRacing really on top of their oval category, I'd say.
Yeah, and it really goes to show just how on the limit these cars always are. When one mistake, one slight tap to the barrier could cause multiple things to fail. And we did see Villarreal there. He's tapping the wall again, and I think something definitely must have broken in his car right now, because he is just dropping time to Rago. And we've seen this in the last race as well. Diego's turn 4 isn't great.
I think Diego's line is very good for a short run, but I think as a long run on these tyres, it's not very optimal, because you watch him go wide, now he's going to cut back in and watch the understeer happen.
Yep.
And we just saw it, but you can see Rago really hugs it, and until he is really clear of that apex, he puts his foot down, and like I've already mentioned, but Diego almost needs to, I don't know if it's worth changing a line now, because changing a line now will change how the tyres going to act. So the moment you change, you need to really be prepared for the car to change. You can't really go, oh, the tyre's going to be the same now, you know, I've been driving the whole race. The tyre will change. So he's actually changed for position, ladies and gentlemen, so this will be good. Kevin Garcia, let's watch this happen and unfold. So Han up the inside, Garcia taking a massive wide line. He's going to get some understeer. I reckon he might kiss his wall. No, he's going to stay off it. Now watch Han on the exit here. I reckon he'll get a really good run. He goes wide, cuts back in. And look at this. Han's going to get a massive exit. Does he hit Garcia? Ooh. Well, that was close. That was too close. Han being a very good driver there. I don't know if he's hit the brakes or just lifted. I think he might have lifted just in time. for Kevin just to readjust his car and get back on the throttle. You can see Garcia just really muscling that car. You can see him on the face cam talking to his mates, and he's still understeering, and Hans just going to go straight up the inside and see you later. I was just saying that Hans actually 3.2k open, so big man on the open.
Yeah, I think he's actually doing really great so far, because I saw him race on Tuesday. They were driving the I think it was the MX5 Cup cars, and he was really good on that as well. Didn't end up finishing too hot on Red Bull Ring, but I think he's found his calling. I think he can consider himself a full-blooded American now, despite being on the other side of the world.
Yeah, legit across the side of, a long way off America. I was going to say, I reckon I'm closer than on, but I'm probably not. Actually, I probably am, actually. I was just trying to work it out in my head. But anyway, enough about me trying to move to America and jump the border. But, back up to Rago, leading this race very comfortably. He's almost pulled out 2 seconds. So at this point, like I said, he's got this race pretty nailed down. He had a battle there in that first race with Connor Healy on, but now it's just his race. He can really set the pace, really control his car. He doesn't even need to save tyre. He's only got a couple of laps left. He's going to come across the line and be on lap 19 now. So, Kevin Garcia, you can see in the back and just sliding the car. I'm watching Kevin just really slide that car. Watch.
Yeah, and you do notice that some of these drivers don't really have that much of a handle on their cars. They're actually doing quite well. So you can see Diego as well, just sliding out of, I believe that was turn 1. And yeah, I mean, we're in a position right now where all the drivers have been locked in already, so it's a matter of whether or not they'll be able to hold it all the way until the end. We've got about 3 laps remaining. Leo Mora's still on the podium, so he's going to be relatively happy with that. Diego as well. I don't think he's really managed. I think he's managed. No, he hasn't actually managed any first place finishes so far. So, hard for the course for him, but he's going to be pretty happy with himself for this particular race, I believe. See Kevin Garcia, he's just really struggling to keep that car under control.
I think I really swear that Diego's got to win. I really think he's got like a heat win or something, like somewhere down the track. I feel like I know he's got heaps of podiums, but I feel like he's going to win somewhere. I really do.
I think we can look back and at all the driver standings and see whether or not I'm wrong or you're wrong, or somehow we're both wrong and he's won more than one. So
wrong. Yeah,
pretty much.
I've been wrong and right so many times, so yeah, I'd be happy to put my hand up if I'm wrong or right. And at the moment, he's got Mr. Honda just closing in. Diego, he's getting loose. He's got 2 laps. He just needs to hang on. Got a nice gap back to Leo, who's 12 seconds back. I'm just thinking, I reckon Diego's went, there's someone in my mirror. I've got to put my foot down. When he really doesn't. When Honda is just on a different level at the moment with those tyres and being a lap down, obviously having that huge wreck with Connor Healy and Kevin Garcia and Gayoso as well, having all issues. So can I just listen to the sentence? I think I'm getting old. That's an old word. But Honda just going straight past and getting a nice pass done there. But yeah, I think he's on a whole different tyre set compared to Mr. Diego at the moment. I saw in the chat as well, someone put $69 down as a bet, by the way, which I found hilarious, by the way. That is a very good joke. It's a very warm joke at this point. It's almost like an Xfinity tyres at this point. It's worn to the bone, but we'll still use it. Still funny. All our, we're all children, so.
Well, we're now crossing. We've just got the white flag down, and Rago is very much comfortably in the lead, which means he'll end up as our double winner for tonight. Unfortunately, didn't get qualifying first, so he wouldn't be our Triple Crown winner, but I think he's going to be happy with the results. He might be our overall winner for tonight. Diego Villarreal there, you saw Hanan making a move on him. Diego knows he's in second place. Hanan is a lap down, doesn't really have to worry about anything, doesn't want to cause an incident that would put both of them out of contention. Leo Mora is also in third place, so everyone's locked in already. As you can see, here goes Rago, and the start-finish straight, just, he has to be really happy with himself, and Hanan just tapping the wall there. He's still got one more lap to go, but regardless, I think he's going to be okay with that result. He's in P4, he's ahead of Kevin Garcia. Connor Healy down in P6. Gayoso is out, finishing in P7. Not finishing, it's a DNF, it doesn't count. But Rago here, oh, he's going to be so happy. And look at Hanan just pulling skids. And that's one way to celebrate a race, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say that's one race to that. One way to celebrate. Connor Healy coming across the line as well. He will be in mixed motions for tonight. We've seen him being very strong at the start of the season, but I think a lot more people are starting to put some practice in. So it's making it quite interesting for Connor Healy at this point. He's going to come across the line in P6. Here's our final results. What have all went through? And then Gayoso finishing in 7th as well, but we'll go through them again. We'll get the results up here again. Rago P1, Diego Villarreal. I still can't get that name right. I've tried for months and months, but Diego P2, Leo Morel in P3, Hon in P4, Kevin Garcia, Connor Healy, and then Gayoso in P7. So good to see those guys coming out every week, and he's just taking the steering wheel off and being a cheeky monkey at this point. So well done to Rago, just taking the win, and I'm just trying to figure out what wheelbase he's running, because I've never seen that quick release before. Just saw that. Good race tonight. Very good race.
Yeah, very good race, and what a way to start off AMX Global tonight. Of course, lovely Saturday for everyone. We're done with our first race. We'll be going over to AMX 10 in just a little bit. And man, after Heat 1, I really wasn't expecting that, but here we are, and some of these drivers might not be too happy with what happened. So before we move on to our break and then getting ready for AMX 10, any final thoughts, Connor?
Good racing. That's honestly the final thought. Yeah, I mean, race 2 was definitely different compared to race 1, but I think race 1 was kind of the example in oval racing, really. It was, you know, we had that tyre save at the start of the race, then we saw at the end of the race everyone starting to use tyres, and we had that three-way battle, and it really showed if you save a bit of tyre, it's such a drastic change compared to someone that hasn't really saved much tyre. Just those little dissenters in NASCAR is really is the big thing in NASCAR. We don't really see that in a lot of road racing. You can have some mistakes and still bring the tyres back after a lap or two, but with oval, that heat just stays there and you've just got to deal with it almost.
Alright, well, I think we're just about woken up and ready for AMX 10. Of course, you can check our socials down there below. Instagram, Twitch, X formerly known as Twitter, Discord, YouTube, website amxrace.com, and our short form content on TikTok. We'll be back in about 20 minutes when we come back to AMX 10 on Sebring International. But until then, stay tuned. I'm Damon, and I'm joined here by Connor. Over to my left? Yeah, left. Okay. Yeah, we'll see you in a bit.
To save our home, we must travel through the gateway to find new energy. To save our home, we must travel through the gateway to find new energy.
Welcome back to AMX Global Season 4. You are joining us now on AMX 10, the rear-wheel drive class, where we are going to be on Sebring for today. Continuing our trend of American racetracks today, we'll be taking on the GT4 cars. Hello, my name is Damon. I'm joined here by Connor. We are your commentators for tonight, and well, we've seen quite a lot of action in Indianapolis just earlier. So, thoughts on what's going to happen at Sebring tonight?
Thoughts? Not many, to be honest. We haven't seen these guys race for a week, so I can imagine they've tried some new stuff. So yeah, we might get a few new surprises for this coming back into the mix of things. So we might see some new drivers and some new competitors that might step up a little bit. Who knows?
Alright, well, our socials are down there in case you've missed out so far. We've got Instagram, Twitch, X formerly known as Twitter, AMX Global Discord, our YouTube channel, which you might be watching the stream on right now, as well as our website, amxrace.com. And for short form content, we of course have our own TikTok, so be sure to follow that if you are on TikTok. So, with that out of the way, let's get straight into the housekeeping because I want to get into the action as quickly as possible. AMX Global League Season 4 overview. Races have been running from January 27th and will run all the way until April 21st with a season prize pool of $20,000 as well as next level gear. Our race format is as follows. We have a 20-minute qualifying. Whoever set the top 15 drivers of the qualifying session will then be shuffled into reverse grid order for Heat 1, which should last about 20 minutes. And the top 15 from that heat will then be shuffled again into reverse grid order for Heat 2. So we will have different drivers in the front almost all the time. Yeah, I think it's very nice, very entertaining for us to watch. Driver cams are of course required. Payout of balances over $100 will be paid out each month to every driver that has a purse over $100. Our race days are on Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday, and you can sign up to race at any time here at amxrace.com. Our schedule is following Greenwich Mean Time, so AMX 1 starts on Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday 5:50 p.m. AMX 10 will then start around 2 hours later at 7:20 p.m. for all 3 days. Our prize pool for AMX 1 will be AMX 10, I believe. They'll be a bit different from what you see on screen right now. But AMX 10, I believe, first place will secure $30 per every session. You can see on the screen right now, $30 for finishing first in qualifying in Heat 1 and Heat 2. And it goes all the way down to $2 for 15th place. But if you do manage to secure the fastest lap during the actual races, you get a bonus of $4. AMX 10, you do require a minimum I rating on iRacing of about 2,000. So, yeah, it's going to be a pretty competitive scene for everyone here. We are running our current promotions, D3 promotion, where you can purchase our entry fee 3 days before the race and get 30% off. So if you're on the fence on whether or not you want to compete, you can always join in at any time, and the closer you are to the race day, the cheaper it'll be for you. We also have our season DC tickets where you purchase a season pass, and then for every class and for every race that you decide to participate in, you get 50% off. So it's very much worth it if you're thinking of dropping in for more than a few races. And now, handing it over to Connor, of course, for our car and track info for AMX 10 tonight.
Thank you, Damien. Well, we're going to get to this track and car combo. We just had the Xfinity at Indianapolis, so it's a bit of a change-up. We're in the same country, though. So the country in question is the US of A. We're at Sebring, very famous, 1950s it opened up, and it's about 3.1 Ks. I think it's actually 5 to 6 Ks there, but I think that could be wrong. And yeah, the name is obviously Sebring, the host of a 12-hour event from the WEC we see every year. Great event to watch, and multiple other events like club races, international races, and everything else like that.
And the car that we are commentating tonight for AMX 10, we are commentating the GT4s. These cars are very special in my heart. I've driven them a couple of times and they're awesome cars to drive. Here's the stats on screen. So they're 350 horsepower up to 500 horsepower. They're rear-wheel drive and 1,300 kilos to 1,400 kilos. Sequential gearbox, and the manufacturers we have tonight is Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, and Aston Martin. So no McLaren tonight. So it'll be quite interesting to see no McLaren out there, but it's a very good selection. And the car of choice tonight more looks like Porsche at the moment. Actually, it's actually Mercedes and Porsche at the moment.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Connor. And you can see on your camera right now are the driver cams, so you can see everyone's getting ready for a night of racing. It's gonna be fun. I do not see Kieran Harrison tonight, so Gael Valero is here. However, he's gonna take an opportunity to edge out Kieran Harrison in the leaderboards. We will not be putting out the leaderboards for this particular session. So we're just gonna jump straight into qualifying, and right off the bat, me and Connor here have been talking about Sebring just before the break, during the break earlier on. We were talking about how difficult Sebring is as a track, because unlike most other racetracks, it's not a very smooth course.
No, it definitely isn't, Damien. We see this track as a very bumpy track. We see a lot of smooth tracks these days, so tracks like the Silverstones, I'd almost class as Daytona is a smooth track. I couldn't really think of any other track besides Daytona. But Sebring's a very bumpy track. It's a very demanding course. It's a type of course that you need to spend a lot of time on to master this course, and I think a lot of these guys have. You can see names like Aaron Vesquez, who we are driving on board at the moment. He's been very dominant across all the boards with AMX, with AMX 10, and he's been very good in the iRacing realm as well. 11.4k, and he's a young fast boy, as I should start calling him. And they've got the T-Rex livery. I'm very proud of these guys. I'm very, very, very proud. Aaron Vesquez, rocking my favourite livery. Drago driver, we always see them in the livery, so they probably just don't have a livery for the Porsche at the moment. So we're coming down to the last corner at the moment, hard on the brakes here. They use about 100% brake pressure to get as much braking as they can done at the moment, but look at those bumps. You can see the cars just bouncing the whole way out, and they're going to go straight into pits and reset for another lap. So Aaron Vesquez sitting on top at the moment, and he has got a 10.4 in the lineup. Gael Valero on screen as well, the Apex Racing team racer. Gael Valero has been very quick recently in the GT3s. We saw him at Donington Park, that comes to mind. He's very quick around there. We've seen him in all different classes. So Aaron Vesquez and Gael Valero falls under that same class of doing heaps of races and being very successful across AMX 10 across the board. He's in the BMW tonight. I feel like that's very fitting to Apex, so I feel like it just suits their livery. I think that blue and white livery really suits it. So right on board with him. The Frenchman being very fast at the moment as well with a 10.8 and being in fourth at the moment as well. Who else is on the board? Tim State's back in as well. Gianni Vecchio is actually in as well, 10.k driver as well. He's very quick. He's actually a red line driver as well, so he's in. And Gael Valero actually putting some decent splits in at the moment. He's got a green sector in and a couple of yellow sectors here, but he could be on a decent lap here. Just means if anyone wants to know, green sector means he's improved his lap time in that certain sector. Yellow means he's just a little bit off, and then purple actually means fastest in session. So if you see all purples, he's flying.
Yeah, and you can see that the gap in times for these drivers, especially for those at the top 5, isn't really large. Like there's a half a second gap between the top 5 drivers, and then slowly it does trickle down a little bit, and you can see as well as they're coming up to, I think this is the sunset curve, just before the start-finish straight, that you can see how easily these cars get unsettled. You see Gael Valero, I think he did tap the wall a little bit. I might have been wrong, but it did look like a big bump.
I think he was very close. I don't think he... Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to confirm anything, or that's an off-track. But the lap is gone from there, so he might go for a reset here in a second. Here's the man himself, Gianni Vecchio. Seen him across the board in iRacing doing a lot of things these days. Streams on Twitch. What else has he been doing? Obviously drives for Max Verstappen, the man himself. We saw Max getting around in our GTPs last time he was out here, so he's one of Max's drivers. We've seen actually Gianni Vecchio all over their social medias at the moment. I think they did a big meetup, so it was good to see them all having a big meetup. It's always good when you see esports teams in general across the board. If you're a 2K driver or a 10K driver like Gianni Vecchio, when you all meet up, it's just an awesome time. You guys can all go out for dinner and have a good time. I think is he on a good lap? Yeah, he's on green sectors at the moment at the back of the course, so see what kind of lap time he can pop out of the end here. He might have got an off track though, so we'll see. And yeah, it's not a great lap, so he'll go again. But he had a couple of green sectors there, so that could be we could be on for a really good lap time here. And there's the off track, so that's a lap absolutely gone. Got to pull over it straight away. And I was talking about those sectors, bottom right, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. And as well, if it's on screen, no, it's not. But a bit later, if you guys want to have a look, we do have a timing leaderboard that you guys can scan a QR code and have a look. And there you go. There's the QR code. And our awesome producer in the background listening to the comments on point tonight. Damon, what do you think of C-Ring just watching it go around at the moment? You liking it so far?
I think I definitely do enjoy the racing there, but part of me is like thinking like, man, I wouldn't like to be in a position because I like to be in control of my cars, and at certain points in time you just feel like you don't have that much control, especially when you go over a bump just slightly wrong. And yeah, we saw it earlier with I think that was Vecchio just now. He had really fast sectors at the latter half of the track, but just bottled it a little bit on the final turn, which cost him a lot of time. And especially when I think this particular part is the fastest sector of the track, so you want to carry as much speed as possible, and at any point you lose that speed, it just becomes a nightmare for you.
Yeah, definitely. And riding on board with Mr. Ciambolini, I just want to mention the man. I don't know if he had a beard before, but I don't know if he had a full clean shaved face there. So Ciambolini running the shaved beard, I'm pretty sure he had something going on. So Ciambolini coming out with a new look in the Aston Martin as well. So we don't have many Aston Martins. I think we've got around 4. 1, 2. I think we had 4, but I think they might have not put lap times down. Ciambolini though in P13 at the moment, putting a 2:11 down. Gabriel putting a lap time down, so he's in P15, so he's about to start a lap now. No, he's on a lap, my apologies. And Vasquez at the purple sector in mid sector. It's all flying off.
Yeah, it's definitely all kicking off right now, and you can see there again the times aren't really improving near the top half, but they are improving near the bottom half. We see Pedro Dean there setting a great lap, but not good enough that he manages to make such a huge jump. He's jumped up to P14 from I think that was P16. We have 17 drivers on the grid right now, so if you're stuck in P16 and 17, you're going to be in trouble because you won't be part of that reverse grid shuffle when the race actually starts. You will be starting in the back, so it's not a very flattering position to be in as well because you don't get any prize money for that. We're about 4.5 minutes left before qualifying ends, so I think at this point these drivers probably only have like maybe 1 or 2 laps in them. And looking at the current leaderboards right now, Aaron Vasquez is pretty comfortable, but Senao with the Iberian there is not that far behind. It's about 900ths of a second, so anything can happen. We're looking at Juan Blenat splits on the bottom there. He's green on almost every section. We're looking at him right now. Will he be able to improve on his current time? Doesn't seem like it does considerably. Oh no, there he is, a 2:10.6. That is great time from him.
Yeah, Dream getting a really good lap time down there. We've seen him in the past having bits of pace being shown, but I reckon this is his night. Galvalero on a really good lap here. Greens and one purple, but he had a slide there from a driver trying to set up the last corner, so that could invalidate that lap just that tiny little bit. I reckon this is P1.
Oh, there you go. Oh, 3
There it is.
thousandths of a second in front of Aaron Vasquez. Oh, he's going to be really happy with that. And that, I think that is the smallest difference in time I've seen between the top 2 qualifying drivers in AMX I've commentated so far. It's crazy.
Yeah, I would actually agree with you. I think that is closest. So Aaron Vasquez goes around with his teammate now. Now, we're probably right on board with these guys for a little bit here. Oh, is that netcode? I think that might have been. So, teammate's going to get out of the way. I think that's Nico just getting out of the way. Yeah, he's Drago, so I'd say that's Nico there riding shotgun there with Aaron Vasquez. And Vasquez is going to go through and just lead this lap and try and get some more time. He only needs to find 3,000ths, which I don't even know how to describe that. That's probably a blink, I think it would be, or I don't know.
The hair on a gnat's leg is what I would describe. It's such a minuscule gap, which makes it so much harder to beat, right? In terms of racing, because any time you mess up, you bungle a sector, even by just a little bit, like it's slightly off the pace, you're not going to get that lap. And Galvalero, what a driver. I've seen him over the past few weeks or so. It's just a stellar performance from him all around.
Justin Resende, we're on now. Aggressive Brazilian. He's been doing really well in this last couple of rounds. Roman getting a purple sector in as well. Just want to mention that in P5, but actually doing really well in the last couple of rounds. He's been, I think he's got a couple of podiums. He's always up in the podium area, so I think he'll be definitely on the cards. So here's another driver in the AMG, Roman. I think he's the second fastest. He is the second fastest in the Merc. Where's he put it? 4th. Good lap time, and he just went, come on. I could see. There you go. He got some good sectors there in a bit. Vasquez all in yellow, so he's not going to improve. Who else is on a hot lap? I'm not really seeing anyone. Tim State, we're on board now. Tim State, we've seen him improve bit by bit, but he is improving. He's been versing guys like Gianni Vecchio, Aaron Vasquez right up to the top. At this point, 100th. I mean, it's not as close as 3,000ths, but he's got pole. He's only just got it by just, but he was all yellow sectors. So that really shows Aaron Vasquez has got more time on the table. Gianni Vecchio coming across the line. Does he improve it and jumps up? Let's have a look. He does, only jumps up 2 positions though. The red line driver, I'm really finding, I think he's got more pace in that car. I did see a couple of good sectors there. So I think there's probably just a couple of little things he's missing, but I can imagine Gianni's going to find those bits of time very easily through the race. We see Vecchio being very pacey in the GT3 realm. There we go. Damon, you take it away, mate.
Oh, man. Yeah, just like that, we've reached the end of qualifying, and an immense drive from Vasquez secures him the top spot in qualifying, as well as the $30 for finishing in P1. Galvalero probably not going to be too happy with that. Has a second place. Look at the split between these two drivers, so minute. Alberto Senao in 3rd place with Roman Pascucci, pulling in 4th. Juan Blenat in 5th. Martin Chico in 6th. Simon de Mori in 7th. Nicodem, oh my god, Polish names. I'm terrible at Polish names. Nicodem in 8th. Bruno Tisioli in 9th. Gianni Vecchio in 10th. Jackson Resende 11th. Pedro Dean in 12th. Gaston Kulhavi in 13th. Fabio Zampanini in 14th. David Seawalk in 15th, which means he'll be starting on pole. And unfortunately, out of the top 15 is Joao Gabriel and Tim State. So regardless, they'll still be starting in the back of the pack. So it's going to be a challenge for them.
Yeah, for sure. And about the names, Aaron, Damon, sorry. You'll find you started calling cool nicknames.
you'll notice it's easy to roll off the tongue, I find sometimes. But awesome qualifying. We're going to roll off this and go straight into Heat 1 with the mention of the top 15 reverse. And we're here all over again. We finished off there for a week, and we're all back into the groove. We're going to actually do the long format, so this might take a while, but here's the format here, so you can go back through it, Damon. I'll give you the pain.
So David Ziwak will be starting in first place with Zampolini in second, Gaston Kulhavi in third, Pedro Dean in fourth, and Jackson Rezende rounding out the top 5 in fifth. So the fastest drivers, of course, are starting at the back of the pack. We have Aaron Vasquez in 15th, with Guy Valero just in front of him, as the drivers are now heading out on their parade lap. And right now, key factor is whether or not the first lap is going to be clean for a lot of drivers. Because especially in a track like this, where I feel that the bumps is going to force you into a position where sometimes you might not have the line that you want on the start of the race, especially in turn 1, where you can see it's a very narrow exit. The corner itself is wide, but the exit is relatively narrow, so we might see something happen there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting in turn 1. I don't know what I'm really expecting for turn 1. I think there'll be a little bit of door banging. We've seen it before in a lot of endurance racing. We've seen it in, what else? Officials, with the IMSA calendar as well. So it'll be interesting, I reckon. But we'll see what turn 2 is like, where it's a bit of a hairpin where everyone needs to slow it up, get under about 80 k's and get through that little chicane. So we're going to do the long format. It gives us a time to breathe, and I can get a sip of water. Is my throat. I don't know why tonight, but I've got a really dry throat. But maybe it's all talking. I don't know. I like to talk. Obviously.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, yeah, we've been talking a lot, especially for like the earlier heats, and especially with this particular parade lap. It's a long lap to go around, so we do have a little bit of time. They're not at the final sector yet, so these drivers are anxiously waiting for the safety car to get into the pits so they can get on with their race and get us into some action right now. We did see a comment earlier on asking us who our favorites are going to be, and no bias, but I'm backing Valero all the way, man. I've seen him drive. He's a great driver. He's also pretty funny, so, you know, no bias, but I'm rooting for him a little bit.
Okay. Nobody kill me, but you're supposed to not have any bias in the commentary box, right? But there is a but, ladies and gentlemen. There is a but. I'm probably going to put Gianni Vecchio as a pretty solid driver to get a podium or a win tonight. I don't really see him staying in P5. You know, we see him in. Well, let me give you a bit of a background. In GT3s, I remember watching him at Le Mans on Twitch. He dominated in the GT3s. And in GT3s in general, he's very fast, and kind of just, when you watch this man drive, he can be on Twitch, have a normal conversation with you, and smash you in lap times in a GT3. It's actually embarrassing. You kind of sit there and go, what am I doing wrong with my life? Where have I went wrong? But Vecchio, I reckon that's a strong one. Jackson Rezende, Nico, which is the Polish driver. I recommend to call him Nico, because if you try and say that name a million times, good luck to you. Simon Moore, he's really good. Roman, I could see him having good pace. And Vasquez, we'll see him up front. Gallo Valero will be a good one. Zampolini. Everyone down in the chat, put your names in, support whoever your drivers. So, coming around the last corner, we're going to see AMX 10 back from the break. I hope everyone missed us. But for AMX 10, you're going to hear my annoying voice for this whole race. And Damon's. Let's go racing. And Heat 1, and it looks like Porsche's got a great start. Dave's got an amazing start. Zampolini's going to be lacking a little bit. Crash in the background. Oh, there's a wobble. Vecchio in the middle of a 3 wide. Turn 1, still 3 wide, almost 4 wide. Vecchio in the middle. Zampolini, Vecchio around.
That's
Huge contact, huge. 4 off. There's going to be a crash in turn 2. No, there's not. He's held the brakes. Vecchio around. So Vecchio's out of this race. I've given him the commentator's curse. I'm sorry.
Moving on, getting back, shooting, having that huge contact. Zambolini running away from P3, Gaston in P3. Then Dave in P1. Oh, Zambolini hard on the brakes. You can use 100% brake pressure, not like a GT3. Bolero up places. Who else is up there? Best case up 6 spots. Albert up to 5. Martin up into P5 as well. Justin Resende in P4. So Resende we've got to keep an eye on. He's probably the one that I'd probably look out for at the moment. Very aggressive driver. He's just had a bit of wheel spin, and it looks like, from looking at this, Albert is actually running in the same livery as Vasquez, so I reckon they might be on the same Discord up the inside with Nico. I think that's Nico. Yeah, that is Nico. Nico just defending off the... what a start. I should take my breath there and you can talk for a bit. My apologies.
Yeah. Calm down for a minute. We just had a hell of a start to this race, and right now we are on board with Martin Chico as they're coming up to the back straight, the runway, of course, I believe. And I mean, we're probably going to see a replay of that. So, yeah, here you go, Johnny Vecchio in picture right now while we're on the back straight. Taps the back of car and then cascading into a spin. I think that was Pedro Dean's car, it might have been, and he gets tapped on the back of his own, which forces him out into a spin. Manages to recover, so he's not going to take that much damage. And look at another incident in front, and then knocking more cars out. And just like that, what an eventful first lap for these drivers right now. And this is a very long track. It's 2 minutes per lap, which means we only have 9 laps. So there's not a lot of room for stuff to happen, I think. But with these cars so close together, you can never say otherwise.
100%. I think that's, Albert straight up the inside. We just saw him do a great move. Look like Nico's up the inside as well. Nico getting a good move done too. No, that's Nico in the Porsche. My apologies. I feel like when you're looking at timing boards and everything, so mixed up. And Vespas around the outside, contact with the Merc. Merc holding on. Martin holding on to the car there. And it looks like the fastest Polish guy out the front though. Dave though, doing really well. And who's that? Bruno down the back as well. He's lost 2 spots, but he's in P11. Trying to make up some spots now. Jackson Resende getting a good launch. And then Gaston trying to make a move around the outside. Very, very ballsy, but he's going to try and make it work. He's got some understeer there. Zambolini's going to take that lead back then. The Polish driver in P1 though, just keeping away 5/10s. So it looks like if Dave can just skip away a little bit, he could have this in the bag. Roman getting a good start as well. We did mention him having some potential going really fast. He's up 7 spots. So Vasquez and Roman being on the same level at this point.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Dave can keep his hair out of the battle for P2 right now, if he doesn't get whirled into the battle, I think he has a very good chance of making a clean getaway. Zambolini and Kulhavi are still going at it, but just behind them, Jackson Resende and Pascucci are also trying to make a move, so we might see a big battle for P2 later on. These cars are still relatively close together. The only driver that's out right now is Tim State. I think he's called it quite early on. He probably was part of an incident early on, and sorry about that. I choked on some water. Anyways, I mean,
hey, let me take over.
Gaston in Gaston in P3. I'll let you catch your breath so you don't die in the background. Gaston in P3, just trying to get on the back of Zambolini, and Zambolini just looking very timid at the moment. He's doing well. He's just sitting right behind Dave. Oh, straight up the inside. Roman in the Merc. Oh, a bit of contact there. Just seen him go straight up the inside and commit on the move because he's got Nico right behind him. Aaron Vesquez's teammate. Nico's been a very good teammate to Aaron. He's been very aggressive, but very smooth and just more of a smooth operator. I've been noticing. He just moves up the way, up the field, and you just don't notice it, to be honest. But he's that type of guy that's always there. Dave in P1 though, he's got some pressure from Zambolini. Zambolini was very strong at Magnicor in the Porsche Cup. He unfortunately got in some dramas in the last couple of rounds, so this could be his time to shine a little bit. Just sitting on the back of Dave at the moment. Dave looking a bit understeer.
Zambolini on the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next corner, so he stays around the outside. Tries to keep the car there. The Aston Martin's going to try and find some grip up the inside, and he does. Dave's on the outside. Does he? Zambolini bump him out? Yes, he does. Zambolini's going to bump him out. Dave's on the grass. Zambolini goes straight through. Dave dropping one spot. If you drop two, I don't think he will. Jackson Rosendo around the outside though. Jackson being not a teammate to Zambolini. Jackson up the inside. He's going to take that move off him as well. Dave on the outside. Inside Roman's going to try and go for the inside as well. No, he doesn't. Dave goes up the inside of Jackson Rosende. Roman around the outside. Have a look at this. Nico on the outside. They're going to run through a train through now. So we're going to see Vasquez go through now. And Bruno as well. Nico's there as well. Valero. There's going to be a few guys going for this one now. Back up the front though. Zambolini's going to take the lead. And he's done that very well. Have you got your breath back, mate? Not choking on water now.
Yeah, I do. I'm just waiting for you to start taking a breath because you were talking for that entire 2-minute stint. Great. Thanks a lot for covering for me, but we lost. We saw Dave here lose a lot of positions there. Zambolini is now up in front with Gaston Kulhavi just behind him with Jackson Resendi and Pascucci rounding out the top 4. But here comes Nico. He's trying to make a move onto Pascucci. Will he be able to as they're coming out? I think this is turn 2 right now. But just behind him, Senao is diving in on the inside. Doesn't have the full length of the track to get everything. But Nico goes wide. Dewalt losing more positions. I'm getting myself mixed up with all these drivers right now, but there's so much going on. We're on board with Nico. We're on board with Jackson Resende right now, still holding on to that position. Pascucci is less than 4 tenths behind him. So again, the battles are heating up. Aaron Vasquez not that far behind. We have Senao just behind him. Gal Valero is slowly making his way out to the pack, jumping. I think that's about 6 positions he's made up since he started the race, and we're almost cresting the halfway point right now. And David's not going to be too happy with the fact that he lost 9 positions just like that.
Yeah, he really went back. We saw that train was so effective, and we just see Gallo Valero just go straight up the inside and taking that move straight off Dave. So it really shows to the people that are watching at home, you make one mistake and you're out. You see you later. Like, they won't let you back in. That's the plain fact of it. They won't let you back in because the moment that there's a bottleneck, it slows down the whole train. So you need to keep that momentum up for the rest of the guys so there's not a huge... let's just say bust up, as a lot of Australian commentators call it. So Roman on exit now, just trying to get a run on Jackson Resende. Jackson Resende looking in the rear view mirror. We saw him have a look up there. So I'd say he's probably going to cover him to this last corner, or Roman's going to fire up the inside. Does he fire? No. He's going to just watch Jackson and see what he does. And I'd say Roman's going to try and get an exit run here. But yeah, talking about that unfortunate run there for... Dave there. The other unfortunate one is Vecchio, but it looks like Vecchio is in the pits at the moment, so I'd say he's just taking a break at the moment. And we'll probably see him in Heat 2, so running on board with Jackson Resende still. Zambolini still in the front with the Duck Hawk Racing. Having a very nice lead here, just controlling the field and doing very well. Gaston right behind as well. We saw Gaston do some really nice moves there and making up one spot there, number 1 in the Merc.
Yeah, I'm looking at the timing boards right now on the live timings board, and so far the fastest lap we have right now is Pascucci with a 2:10. Everyone else is in a 2:11, so he is pretty much on pace. You can see Aaron Vasquez making a move on Pascucci there. I just jinxed him a little bit, I think, because he just conceded the position, but he does have the inside track out of that corner. Won't have it for the next one, and Vasquez is making that move look so easy for him. Oh, he comes Pascucci back on the inside. Oh, he's looking to see make something happen, but doesn't seem to be able to find an opportunity to do so just yet. Pedro Dean, and meanwhile, at the back, from that incident in lap 1, he's slowly making his way back up to the field, but we are past the halfway point of this race. He has to make up as many positions as he can with his current position right now. He'll probably start in P3 on the next heat. Gal Valero is also trying to make his way up. We are on board with Nico right now, and Senao's just behind him, hounding him with that BMW. Valero is in another BMW hounding him from the back as well. And you can see the difference in time between all of the drivers, especially up to 7th place, is so minuscule that we saw it earlier with Dave. Any mistake, and that's it. The train's broken, and you're pretty much out.
Yeah, you've taken the words straight out of my mouth. It's you make that little mistake, and that's it. Let's see Jackson Resende try and go around the outside. I'd say the Aaron Vasquez is going to put it straight up the inside, and I'd say Roman's going to follow through as well and use him as a crowbar. Aaron Vasquez still on the outside. Jackson's got the run because he went wide. So Jackson Resende's going to have the inside with that little black Porsche. Roman straight up the inside. Does he back in 3 wide? He does. It gets 2 moves done in 1 quarter. He's going to make it work too. It's straight up to the left-hander. Roman's going to have the inside. And he's going to get it done. Jackson Resende on the outside. They're going to lose his slipstream a little bit. Jackson Resende still going to get done. Still on the outside, making it work. He does not care about any point of grip. He's making it work, and Jackson Resende has just got that move done. Aaron Vasquez is going to try and follow through now. He tried to follow through, or not follow through, go under Jackson, and now he's going to try and go around the outside. It did work before for him. Jackson's moving under brakes, moving him left. Roman's on the back with that Merc. Oh, Roman's just going to have to back out of it a little bit because we saw Aaron Vasquez move back on that apex, try and squeeze Roman just that tiny little bit. The Roman can't get the grip out of there. And I reckon that battle's signed and sealed until the next couple of corners. But it looks like at the moment the top 2 have just bounced away a little bit, and it gives Gaston a little bit of breathing with Zambolini.
Oh man, what an exchange there. Pascucci with a brave move to get past the 2 of them, but because he was out of the slipstream for so long, he ended up just conceding it because he didn't have the best way to get back into the train, which gives Vasquez and Resende the space and the power to get back into their positions. And this is one thing that you really have to consider, because this track, barring the latter half of the sector, which is the fastest sector of track, it's a very narrow course all around. I can see Vasquez actually made the move onto Resende earlier while we were talking about that. He's now clearly ahead of both of these drivers. However, Pascucci is pulling alongside Resende here. Will he be able to get the inside? He dives for it, breaks a little bit later. So far is pulling alongside. He's trying to make a move onto Vasquez as well, but ends up tapping the back of his car, I think, a little bit, losing the position, but he's still alongside Vasquez there, and now he's picking past Resende. Senao now is trying to make a move with Nico just behind him, and a minute past, I think, as they're coming into turn 1. It's almost 5 cars wide, and here comes a little bit of contact coming in from both Pascucci and Resende. They're not comfortable with each other being in their spots, and just like that, both of them causing all of them to lose positions.
I was going to say, Nico and Vasquez winning out of that whole exchange, and it looks like the biggest loser out of that, it looks like Roman. He's dropped heaps of spots, so he's lost out of that whole train, so now he's going to have to figure out how he's going to get back up there. Gallo Valero's just come out of nowhere, and he's straight back into the action, up into P6 as well. So, it's like I said before, there's people that just come out of nowhere, and you go, where did they come from? Contact Jackson Resende straight around. And he's going to get it back around. He's going to get a slow down though. And Dean's just made up another spot in P12. Yeah, he did there. I don't think it was that much contact. I think iRacing might have just had a bit of netcode there and a bit of dramas there. So Vasquez up to P3 now, and he's going to be straight onto the back of Gaston. And Zambolini and Gaston know that they need to somehow defend or make this work with Nico and Vasquez. They can't really, they've either got to commit one or the other. They can't really be intermediate with that. I think they need to either work together or let them go. So at the moment, Zambolini leading with a nice little lead here. He's not really stressing about this lead. He's just driving away a little bit. But you can see here with the Merc down the back straight with all that power, with that little 4-litre V8 with twin turbos, is pulling nice and hard. Does he go for a dive? It looks like he's going to do it. Straight up the inside, and he does it halfway, and he's going to get the move done on Zambolini. Gaston's our new leader into lap 8. Zambolini's still there. He needs to cover off that move. He needs to cover off. He hasn't. Zambolini's going to have the inside. Zambolini can push him out. Zambolini's going to back out, and there's the contact. And there we go. Zambolini's been done by there, and Gaston's going to take the lead. So now Zambolini's going to worry about Aaron Vasquez and Nico right behind him. That is scary to look in your rearview mirror and see those two Drago Racing teammates working together. So Aaron's probably going to go around the outside. We saw him do it before. Does he change it up and go straight up the inside? I reckon he might go up the inside. He's going to try and beat Zambolini. And he went straight up the inside. So he's not going to go for the outside move. Didn't work for him last time. Aaron straight on the brakes. Oh, I thought there was going to be contact there, but Vasquez gets it nice and pulled up. Zambolini's going to get absolutely... we talked about the getting swallowed in a train. I reckon this will be Zambolini's time now. We won't see Gaston get swallowed, but I think we'll see Zambolini. So Nico, does he go for the move? No, he stays behind. Zambolini on the cover though. Tries to cover off Nico from making a move, but that bottlenecks the rest of the field up just a little bit more. Brings more drivers into it. And the drivers behind it is Roman. So Roman's probably going to get into this battle in P7 as well. So Gallo Valero's in this as well, so he's another contender to look out for as well.
Yeah, and Aaron Vasquez making the passes look easy. Of course, great driver. Right now, I'm looking at the timing boards again. Gallo Valero actually has the fastest lap out of everyone right now, so he's making his way out to the field. But Vasquez putting the heavy pressure onto Gaston Couhalvi. Zambolini dropping off the back of the pack, so all of a sudden the battle for P1 is replaced by a completely different car. We have the green T-Rex livery of the Porsche Cayman GT4 right on the back of Couhalvi right now, and even on the straights, that AMG V8, he's swerving a little bit, trying to defend. Doesn't look like it. Vasquez is going to try and hang back a little bit and make sure he doesn't end up in a situation that's unfavorable for both of them. But he does have the better run up on the exit. We'll see if he'll be able to make a move into T1. Of course, he comes out on the outside. He's pulling alongside right now. A little bit. Goes for the white line into turn 1. Here comes Vasquez. Will he make a move? Doesn't seem like it. Didn't have the best exit there. And still, Gaston Couhalvi is barely holding on to P1, but Zambolini is taking this opportunity to catch up to the front of the pack now. It's a 3-car battle, 5-car battle, 6-car battle for the top of the grid. Gaston Couhalvi trying to get away, but hasn't been able to do so just yet. And Aaron Vasquez is putting on the pressure. Here comes Gallo Valero though onto the outside of Senau. Will he be able to make the pass stick as they're coming up to, I think this is going to be a right-hander. Gallo Valero on the outside, no.
Oh, huge start there from the Beamer. That was huge.
Oh, that was Couhalvi. He just went off.
I think he's been turned. I could be wrong, but there might have been contact in that exchange. 6-way battle now. Zambolini's trying to go up the inside. He could have fired it up the inside and made Aaron Vasquez very awkward there. The Beamer on the inside. Nico's been out of this. So Nico's been absolutely... He's been back and forth between those two Beamers, which is Alberto, yeah. Alberto, sorry, I'm struggling there, but Alberto in the P3 and that Beamer now. So it looks like the Beamers and the Porsches are the strongest cars in the race form, but it looks like the Mercs are good. Here's the replay. Yeah, contact.
Oh, he brakes super hard there.
So it looks like Aaron Vasquez has just kept his foot at it when the Merc is still in the apex. So yeah, not great, but Aaron will probably say I've bumped a few people in my life. So Aaron getting the win for here on the last lap. He's going to come around the last corner. Zambolini though keeping in second though. What an amazing drive he's had. Defending off and doing the right way. Alberto straight up the inside. Does he try and get the move done? No, he doesn't. Zambolini's going to come over in second. Alberto in third place. And there's the rest of it. Nico as well. And Zambolini's happy with that. He's flashing the headlights. And Aaron Vasquez for another win in Heat 1.
Oh, alright. I'm going to let you take your breath right now. We can go back. We can go to the results of that race 1. And what a heat, man. I mean, really... full-on intense racing all throughout. We didn't even realize we were on the final lap when Vasquez made that move. We're going to have to go to the stewards later on if there will be a protest coming along from Gaston Couhalvi. He's not going to be too happy with that result. He is still going to be in, I believe that is P9. Oh, P9. Oh my god, that was bad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the words. The bad thing that happened to him in that particular last lap. And it was the last lap as well, so you know he's going to be absolutely miffed about that. As we can see, Blaine out here, the last person to cross the line. And we're going to the leaderboards in just a bit. We're coming up to it right now. So, what a race. And just to cap it off, we're seeing the leaderboards right now. Aaron Vasquez will be finishing first with Zampolini in second. Great drive from him. Alberto Senao in third. Nico in fourth. Gal Valero in fifth. Pascucci in sixth. Martin Chico in seventh. Simon de Mori in eighth. Gaston Kulhavi ninth. Pedro Dean 10th. Jansen Resende, Joao Gabriel, David, Bruno, and Juan round out the last 5 drivers of the field. So David here, he's going to end up near the front of the pack again, but we'll have to see whether or not he'll be able to hold it this time, because he ended up with quite a few unforced errors that forced him into a position where he didn't want to be in, and immediately losing everyone else capitalizing on the mistakes that he made. It was a very difficult race for him. And Gal Valero, of course, with the fastest lap.
Yeah, it was weird for Dave. Like, he had some good pace sitting up the front. You could see Zambolini was a little bit fast, but nothing major. But it just looked like one mistake from him or a driver making a move, and that was it. He just got swallowed, because you had Jackson Resende, you had Aaron Vasquez, you had Nico, you had all these top end drivers that were just like, okay, you've made a mistake, boo-hoo, and that was it. So yeah, this one's going to be another interesting race. Gianni Vecchio's back in the race in P17, so still keep your eyes on him. Unfortunately, he had a really big crash at the start there, so he didn't get many laps in. So we'll do our formation lap again, but this will be very similar to the last one, to be honest. June's up the front this time with Bruno and Dave. Jackson Resende, Gabriel, Gaston, Pedro, Dean, Martin Checo, Simon Demore, Gallo Valero, Roman, Nico, Albert, Zambolini, Vasquez, Tim Stay, and Vecchio. So good field tonight, though, Damon. Really good field tonight. This is sorry for the producer.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a nice variety of drivers from all different nationalities. Of course, Argentinians are still the majority of drivers here, but I think this is the one time where they're not an overwhelming majority, I should say. So we have like a nice spread. We have Brazilians, we have Polish, we have French, we have an American, and we have a Spaniard. So of course, the formation lap's going to be pretty long. So we have a lot of time to collect ourselves, take a deep breath, we get ready for when they finally cross the start-finish line. Hopefully, I just jinxed it by saying hopefully, didn't I? I mean, like, I was hoping there wouldn't be any incidents, but with how competitive these drivers are, it's kind of inevitable. But at the same time, one can hope, right?
Well, you hope every time, but it just never ends up that way. But yeah, great race. Great racing in the first one, so E2's probably going to be even better, so stick around, guys. Keep it flowing in the chat as well. We love it. We'll read your comments, and if it's a good comment, we can always talk about the comment and expend all our knowledge, and then we can talk about $69 in the chat as well, which that was hilarious. And Roman, the grey car, just flying up the front. That might have been, he might have spun the car or something there, so maybe we didn't catch it on stream there. So he's lucky we didn't, so he's going to drive back up to the field, because yeah, he did start in there. So he actually started in P1. No, Bruno, it was Bruno that had a bit of an incident there, so he's driving back up to the field. At least his tyres are up to temperature now. But Jackson Zende is actually in a really good spot, P4, P5. Who else is there that's in a good spot? Simon Demore, he's in a good one. We've seen some really good pace coming out of him in the GT3. Maybe the GT4's done his specialty. Gallo Valero was a good one in the first race. We saw him like in that top 6 having a good battle there. Pedro Dean, we saw him a bit further down the back, so hopefully he can have a bit more of a competitive race. I think he had contact at the start, so that could have been the reason why. Heating the tyres up, juniors. So here we go. Heat 2 of the AMX 10 race. We're back, baby. We're back. We're back into the flow. I feel warmed up. And here we go. Straight off the line. Juniors just see you later. Not waiting for anyone. Bruno's going to get a decent launch with him as well. So P1 and P2, 5 wide across the finishing line. No block-ups yet. Turn 1. See this happen again. Oh, 3 wide. And there's contact. And they've made it 3. Still 3 wide. Still 3 wide. Still 4 wide. And someone's off in the background. That's Emilini, it looked like.
That was Zamperlini, yes. Oh no,
That's Emilini.
That was Valero taken out. Oh my god, so now we have Valero having the struggle to get back up to the field, ended up in this incident with Chico. So now both of them have a massive undertaking on their end to make it front. Tim State there, actually making up 3 spots. Is it P14? That was another spin, that was Vecchio, he's out again!
Vecchio getting spun there again. That was 3 wide. You can see there was a car that dove straight up the inside and tried to make that 3 wide. They did end up winning that for the guy that went straight up the inside, but Vecchio getting turned around again. So Heat 2 is not going his way so far. He's got 6 seconds to P15. So he's not having a great night tonight. He's been caught up in incidents. Yeah, I reckon if we got around to lap 2, I reckon it would be a different story. Smoke in the background. Car 13, which is Gabrielle. So in the Porsche, so that's a different Gabrielle. No, there's not 2 Gabrielles. My apologies. So Alberto up the inside of Aaron Vasquez, actually. I thought that was Nico for a second. So Aaron Vasquez around the outside. We saw him do really well around this last corner, but he is on the outside, so he might struggle with that. June straight into the lead at the 2 Mercs, so they'll probably push each other on these back straights here, trying to get as further away as possible from Jackson Resende. Resende having more grip, obviously, in that Porsche, being a little bit lighter in the corners, it feels like. The Merc's a bit of a pig to drive, but it is fast down the straight. Here's the insto with Gala Valero, and you can see that he's just gotten caught up in an incident and went straight into the bales in the Apex car there, and he's brushed off a wall. And on the left-hand screen, we're 2 wide into turn 1. Oh, everyone going off the road there in the 2 Mercs. Everyone getting pulled back into this battle. So we're in about a 5 battle car wide. 5 battle. So I'll let you go, Damon, because my throat's just gone.
I completely understand. Here comes the incident with Vecchio. I think that was one of the other cars. Yeah, it was the green Porsche. I'm not sure which Porsche that was. I didn't see the car number coming in, but that put Vecchio out of contention, and he's called it as well. Zamperlini looks like he's calling it as well. So it's going to be a double DNF for Vecchio, it looks like, and it's going to be unfortunate for him, but we're going to have to focus on the battles happening in front of us. We're on board with Pedro Dean right now in the green Aston Martin. He's hounding the back of Gaston Kulhavi because didn't have the best first race, and now we're coming back to Jackson Resende. He actually made a move out to Bruno. See if he can make the pass stay. He does make it looks like it, and now Bruno is trying to get back in front of him, but Jackson's not giving him the time of day. So now he has another battle on his hands. See if he can catch up to Juan all the way in front right now. This battle might slow them both down, but if they can work together with each other, they might be able to keep up back in front of Juan. Simon de Mori in 4th place with David here.
Shirtless.
On a bit of a redemption run. I think he's in 5th. He's shirtless. Okay, at that I did not notice, but you know, whatever makes you most comfortable when you're driving, right? We're not going to judge. If this is what you're most comfortable with driving, we're not going to say anything. I wish I could be shirtless as well. It's hot as hell here in Malaysia. In the studio. I mean, really. Gaston in 6th. Pedro. We're still on board with Bruno right now. We are seeing the player cams with him and Jackson Resende. Jackson is slowly pulling away because he wants to catch up to Juan right now. Simon de Mori also in back with the Porsche, trying to take advantage right now. David holding on to 5th. Gaston is right behind him. Pedro Dean and Aaron Vasquez, though. Aaron Vasquez does have quite a bit of time to make up because he's about 1 second behind Pedro, and Pedro is wanting to try and make a move onto the top of the field. You can see that the car is going slightly a bit wide out of turn 1, trying to make the most out of that exit. And David, he's stuck in the middle right now. He doesn't really have anywhere to go. He's not in the slipstream of the cars in front of him, so he might end up losing a bit of time as well, which gives Gaston time to keep up. And while we're all talking about this right now, Gal Valero, starting in the back of the pack, is still in the back of the pack. So he might not be too happy with the circumstances of this race. Vasquez as well in P8. Senao is right behind him, about 6 tenths separating them. Nico another second behind. Chico, Valero, Tim State actually in a pretty good spot right now. He's nearly 8 seconds behind Gal Valero, but he is still holding on to that P13 spot. As I say that, Gabriel is less than half a second behind him, so that might be a little bit of contention there. And Zamperlini is way out in back, so he's probably going to call this race for a bit. He's just going to hang back and chill, wait for things to die down. But Jackson Resende here, we're on board. Bruno is still right behind him, so before he ever tries to make a move onto P1, he has to get this battle out of the way first.
Yeah, it looks like it's just reading something. So it looks like Jackson Resende under huge pressure at the moment. Bruno, shirtless Bruno, that's what I'm going to call him from now on. But shirtless Bruno right on the back of him now. Is he going to go for the switch over in the last corner? I don't think he is. Jackson's going to come in nice and hard. The thing with this Merc, look at the power it's got on this back straight, and going to go around the last corner, around the outside. He's going to try and use as much brake as he can, run the outside, and try and get a good run onto this exit here, and he is. And watch the power just get put down on this Merc, and Jackson's covered him. It's done well. It's done well. Another Porsche on the back of this now. Simon Demore, we saw him very, very competitive, so I can imagine Simon's going to get into this as well. Oh, a huge dive there from Bruno. Huge dive. It gets Jackson side by side though. He needed to do something there, and he did do something. Getting onto the back of this as well, like we mentioned. Side by side, bit of door-to-door contact. We love to see that at AMX. Oh, more contact. And it looks like Bruno's gone through. And look at this. Watch tomorrow. Just go straight up the inside here. Or does Jackson cover it the whole way? He covers it the whole way. Jackson Resende, calm as can be as usual. We'll be covering this, and I reckon Demore will probably go around the outside. Oh, good braking by Jackson Resende there. Demore, I think Demore has actually got a new race seat, by the way, from the looks of it. It looks like he's got an OMPC. Good to see he's made some upgrades. Then Demore, does he go for another move here? Oh, he's had a look. Jackson didn't react though. That's good driving by Jackson there. Now, who else is on the back here? So Dave's in the background as well. We've got Aaron Vesquez behind these guys as well. So this is going to be a really good battle in a second or two. So Jackson Resende trying to get this move back from shirtless Bruno. But Bruno trying to keep calm here. He needs to, with that Merc, I think having a battle where he needs to just stay out in front and use that power to his advantage. He can't really be doing stuff in the corners because the corners really... He struggles. You can see there. Just look how late Jackson Resende can get on the brakes, and watch him just pull on the Merc with Bruno. Bruno's going to pull away here, but look at this. Demore has got an opportunity to dive it up the inside because Jackson Resende is not going to have that much slipstream. But does Demore go for the move here? Watch for the inside. Watch the inside. Does he go for it? No big lunges. Jackson Resende covers though. Tries to go deep. Demore though, does he go for the inside? Yes, he does. There's the move. Ooh. He's going to have to stay around the outside. Oh, Jackson Resende bouncing off that wall just a little bit. Oh, what a great little race here, Damon.
Yeah, he's definitely still doing his best to hold on to that position. Here comes Simon Demore. Almost went for the dive there, but just dabbed the brakes a little bit too hard, I think. What happened here? Meanwhile, David is also just behind. He's now joined this battle for P3, I believe. Yeah, just behind him is, of course, Aaron Vasquez. He made up quite a lot of time from this battle. All these cars are just losing time, trying to get past each other, and just like that, Aaron Vasquez is taking the opportunity right now. Shirtless Bruno, of course, I love that we gave him that nickname because now we're going to start using it the whole time if he goes it again. Meanwhile, Aaron Vasquez makes the move on to Dave. He does go for it. He does make it happen, but it looks like he might try for another one. Goes a little bit wide, we're a bit late on the brakes there. Holds the line, and he's right onto the tail of Simon de Mori, but again, Mori is trying to hound Resende. So Resende has now got like three identical Porsches right behind him under a lot of pressure. Meanwhile, Bruno is holding on to that gap. He's extending it just a little bit, but out in front, Juan Blena in first place is extending the gap because this battle is just slowing everyone else down.
Yeah, I said, like, with this battle, the moment, you know, there's this bottleneck, as we call it in racing. If someone's, you know, they have a battle at the front, everyone else just comes into this huge battle pack, and it just makes the racing better. So it makes for us for commentators heaps better. And here's the Aston straight up the inside of, that's not Nico, who's that? Dean, and who's that in front of him? I don't know who that is. But the Merc on the outside, he's going to try and find some grip there. And it looks like Nico's probably going to get that move done from the looks of it. He's up the inside, he's got Sunset. And here comes Vasquez straight up the inside. Not messing around. Demoro backs out of it. And he's going to give Vasquez that little move there, because at the end of the day, we've talked about that bottleneck. The moment they start battling, everyone comes into this battle. So he's like, all right, I'm going to let Vasquez go, and using him as a bit of a crowbar in this situation, because Vasquez can get around Jackson Resende. Resende is a very aggressive driver, and he knows how to cover well. So Resende can, you know, battle really well. So if Vasquez can get through, it brings Demore in it, and Demore can get past as well. Oh! Around car number 1, which is Gaston. That's Gaston gone.
Oh no, that's such an unfortunate position for him. We're going to have to see a replay of that incident later on when we get production ready to put it up. But that is unfortunate for Gaston. That's the second time he's had his race kind of shafted by an unfortunate incident. But we're putting our attention back to the front right now. Simon de Mori is being hounded by David Ziwa, looking for a move on the outside. Doesn't seem to be able to make it happen just yet, but now Simon knows there is another driver behind him, and he is hungry for that position ahead of him. Meanwhile, Aaron Vasquez is trying to hound Jackson Resende. We've got about 3 laps left in the race, so Vasquez has got to put on a bit of a drive right now if he wants to make it onto that podium. Meanwhile, Bruno, here comes the incident on the picture-in-picture. You can see Gaston Kulhavi. I think that was Nico's Porsche that tapped into the back of him as they were entering turn 1. There you can see just a little bit of a love tap, and then no, that was Nico. Yes,
that was a Aston. I'm trying to think. That might have been Dean.
That was Dean. Yeah, that was Dean. Yeah, if it was a green Aston, yeah, it's Dean. Maybe I'm blind because I can't really see that well.
Nah, it's so hard to say, because the Porsche, the only difference you can tell with the Porsche is a bit more skinnier. So that's the only difference I can really notice. Aaron Vasquez running aboard though in P4. We talked about this battle before, leading up to this. Jackson Resende, we're going to be coming on to lap 7, so it's going to start heat up. Jackson Resende going for a dive onto Bruno. Bruno's going to keep it nice and wide. I did say about the power with the Merc, and he uses all of it, and he's going to keep that inside. If Bruno can just hold that inside up to turn 1 and make Jackson go the long way, Vasquez can go straight up the inside, but Bruno probably doesn't want Vasquez up the front either. Meanwhile, up front, Bruno's just gone. 2 seconds up the road. Vasquez using all the road. He thought, let's just use the dirt. We don't need to use the tarmac. Who needs tarmac? Jackson Resende having a huge correction there on the steering input. Actually, let's go and see our leader. I wonder what he's doing.
It's just chilling by the looks of it. Right now, the gap is a consistent 2.3 seconds ahead for Juan. Yeah, you can see him just out of cam, just in the shot right now as he's pulling away. Yeah, he's right there in the Mercedes, of course. But Vasquez, he's got 2 laps left to make up. Here comes Gal Valero on to the outside of Nico, I believe. Yes, he's coming around that hairpin into the left-hander. Does have a bit of an inside track right now. Ooh, a little bit of a shaky exit from Nico right now. But Gal Valero is putting on the pressure. He's still going to pull up alongside him as they're coming into the left-hander. Will he be able to make the pass happen? But Petrodin is right behind him, waiting for an opportunity to strike as well. He's behind Martin Chico, and looks like Gal Valero will make the move happen onto Nico. We'll see if Petrodin will be able to do the same right now. But you can never count on Gavalero. Even when he's racing in the back of the pack, he's still driving like an absolute madman. We're coming back to the battle in front right now. Aaron Vasquez is pulling alongside Jackson Resende. They're right next to each other. As they're coming into the right-hander, Jackson does have the inside track, but here comes Vasquez. He might come for a switch around. The switchback, Aaron Vasquez just hasn't been able, not just yet, but they're on the back straight right now. And now, I think Aaron Vasquez does have a nicer run. We'll see if he tries to go for another dive right now, but just in front is Bruno. He's also definitely feeling the pressure when it comes into turn 17. Vasquez laying it neat and tidy right now, but Bruno is going to have to jump on that power early to take advantage of the Mercedes' power. It's like keeping it tidy now, but Vasquez still in the slipstream, so is Jackson. And we are down to the penultimate lap of the race right now. I haven't even kept track of how many laps we've gone through. It feels so close. Here comes Vasquez going for a little bit of a dive. Not yet able to make it stick, but he's going to go wide. But oh, look at that, Jackson goes super wide. Does he give Vasquez the run in? Yes, he does. He makes that pass happen, and unforced error from Resende there loses him that position, and now Vasquez is on the podium. We'll have to see if Jackson can keep it together in order to make that position back, but it looks like Vasquez might just be holding it for now.
Yeah, I think we saw Demore go for the dive as well to follow Vasquez through, but he couldn't get it done. If he was just a little bit closer, he probably would have put the nose there. Vasquez is going to have to get around this Merc. We've seen this Merc just be an absolute bust, but it has got some power under it. So we're not on the white flag yet, but we're getting very close to it. Vasquez around the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next corner. That Merc needs to stay there and be a bust. Nice, he's parked it. And Vasquez has went around the long way, and he's done it well. Very well. Here comes Resende, though. He's going to try and get this move done while Vasquez has made that move. A bit of net code there. And the Merc's still going to stay in front. So Vasquez has just gotten through that free, really. And the Merc's still pulling away. And Vasquez will have to catch almost 3 seconds on one lap. So that's going to be hard work. Jackson Resende straight up the inside. Contact. There you go. Jackson's Resende is around. He put the nose there. And he got what he deserved. He just poked the nose. And it looked like the Merc just committed to the corner. And that was it. Resende out of this battle altogether. Simon Demore is in P4 now.
The bear just a little bit too far and paid the price for it. Now you see Bruno swerving a little bit to try and sway Simon Demore away from making a move. Seems to be making it work so far, but it looks like Simon might have the better exit coming out of the back straight. No, it looks like he let off just a little bit, which gives Bruno the ample opportunity to use the power of the Mercedes to pull away. And just behind him, Senao is also trying to make a move. Here it comes, I think this is Nico. He's on the tail of Martin Chico, pulling alongside him as they enter turn 1 for the final lap of the heat. Coming on the outside, you gotta use all that track right now. But we're gonna cut straight back in front with Simon Demore now under heavy pressure from Senao. He has to be able to keep it under control, otherwise this is going to be a bad time for him. And Senao is hounding him. And you consider the fact that the BMW looks menacing and huge compared to the Porsches. It might be a little bit scary, right, to see a BMW in your rearview mirror. Ooh! Contact there. I was going to cut to you, but immediately there was a bit of an incident. And I think David is trying to make a move onto him right now. And okay, so now that we've calmed down a bit, we are approaching the end of the race. However, we are in the latter sections of the race. Here comes, so now he wants to make a move. Big shunt there onto Simon Demore. David there also shunting the BMW just a little bit. So now this contention, this battle for P4 is heating up. Here comes David trying to find the line in order to make it through. Doesn't seem to be able to do it so far, but Senao is feeling the heat. And just because of that, Bruno is pulling away from all three of these drivers. So he's going to be really secure with that third place position. And Aaron Vasquez, also in an island of his own, running clean air, is going to be in P2. But the man of the hour, Juan Blenat, is going to be crossing the finish line in just a moment. Very clean race, almost incident-free for Juan Blenat. stayed in the lead all the way from start to finish. So great drive from him as they're now onto the back straight. This battle for P4 is not over yet. Barring one mistake from any of these drivers, here comes Juan Blenat about to cross the line. He's past turn 17, and what a drive from him. Congratulations, he did a really good job holding on to that lead, and he's going to be super happy with that result. Aaron Vasquez in second place with shirtless Bruno popping in third. Simon Demori holding it on to that P4 all the way into the end. So now and David could not make the move happen. Martin Chico in P8, Nico in 9th. Gal Valero going to have to be happy with that 10th position. Gaston Kulhavi, another race unfortunately out of his hands with that P12 finish. Tim State actually doing really well for himself with that P13, and Zamperlini will be rounding out the finishers in P14 with Gabriel, Pascucci, and Vecchio in DNFs.
What a race. What an absolute race. Just watching Zamperlini, that kind of, my heart drops at Zamperlini. He had such a great first race, and it kind of just went all down the gutter, unfortunately for him, but good race for him in race 1. But yeah, we're jumping into conclusions before we see the results, but we will see interviews after this, so you stick around, ladies and gentlemen. Keep the chat coming in as well, and we'll see some of your favourite drivers on screen. Some really good nights for these guys. Aaron Vasquez having a good night, Simon Demore having a good drive back. What else is there? June having a good race as well. There's some really good drivers there, so take it away, the man of the hour.
Alright, here it comes. The Heat 2 results, of course. Juan Blenat in first place. A very consistent drive all the way from start to finish. Senao actually had the fastest lap throughout the entire session, so good on him. He'll be walking away with a little bit of a bonus. It's not going to be too happy with that 5th place finish, but it's still, you still earn quite a bit from it, so props to you. Aaron Vasquez in 2nd, Bruno in 3rd, Simon Demori in 4th, Alberto Senao in 5th, David Zwalk in 6th, Jackson Resende. Unfortunately, that incident put him way back. He's now in 7th, Martin Chico in 8th, Nico in 9th, Gal Valero in 10th, Pedro Dean 11th, Gaston Kulhavi in 12th, Tim State, again, great drive, 13th place, Fabio Zamperlini in 14th, and then Gabriel, Pascucci, and Vecchio will be rounding out the bottom 3. So, we'll be cutting to interviews in just a little bit once we've settled into ourselves. We just need to settle down for a bit and take a deep breath, because we have been talking non-stop since the beginning of Heat 1, and my mouth is completely dry. I don't know what it's like for you. I'm going to guess it's pretty much the same thing, because you were talking a lot. Both of us just generally were just like spitting, right?
Yeah, I think race 1 I really just burnt out my voice, but I'll be doing interviews. So we'll swap to us now, and you can see our big ugly faces. I'm kidding. But no, awesome race. Heat 1 was awesome. Heat 2, I mean, no shockers really. It was a great race. We'll just wait for everything to click over now. We're going to get some interviews, so we're just going to wait for all our guys to jump into the cool down room, and then we'll get a notice when we call the interviews. And by the way, we've got some new music in the background, by the way, so I kind of enjoyed that from our production team as well, so I appreciate that, guys. Damon, mate, you took over for that race too, because my voice is gone, but that was one hell of a race.
I mean, it was action from start to finish, which is something that I've pretty much come to expect after having commentated for AMX for about, I think about 3 weeks now. I mean, I'm still pretty new to this, but from what I've seen so far, it's been like I'm sweating and all I've been doing is talking, right? Like, it's such a weird position to be in. Yeah,
I mean, it's I think I've sweated a couple of times just because of the Australian heat for commentary, but never for a full-blown one yet, so I'll put that on the bucket list. For all the esports stuff, though, I sweat like a pig. Like, it's disgusting. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you really enjoyed that race, because we're coming back. I mean, we've come back this week. Well, we did Tuesday. I wasn't here Tuesday. I mean, does it matter when I'm not here? Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Damon obviously helping out through the week, and it's been an awesome race for tonight, and we're streaming tomorrow as well.
And we're going to hop over to the interview, so give me a minute and you'll hear me do some interviews.
And our first interview, the man that won the second race. How was that race, mate?
Hi, hello. Okay, well, my first race, the hit one was very bad. I have an accident, and then in the future I have a chill race because I have to go very safe.
Yeah, it looked like you had a really chill race out there. It looked like you just managed the race really well, and everyone was fighting back there. You had Aaron Vesquez, you had Jackson Resende, which are the two people you want to have in behind you, because that makes that I would almost say that competition for you good, because you could just pull away, worry about your tires, and worry about the brakes and everything else, and you just pull away.
Yes, the other drivers was battle, and I have to go till and with my pace.
Yeah, and it looked like you had great pace. What was the other question I had lined up for you? What do you think of the GT4s around Sebring?
Please repeat.
Oh, what do you think of the GT4s around Sebring?
I can't speak.
Oh, you're good.
I have a little English, a little.
little.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
I tell you what. For little English, mate, you're very good, very, very good.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Well, I was going to say, who would you like to thank for that race, mate, and all your sponsors if you want to shout them out, and we'll wrap it up at the end of that.
Yes, thank you to Rincon Racing, my team, and TM Custom Logos, BJ simracing, that are sponsors, and see you in the next one.
We'll see you the next time, mate. That's another win for you, mate, so we'll see you next time.
Yes, okay.
So,
Hello?
here's our next. Hello. Are we on the phone dock?
Yeah, this time we are.
Well, mate, I'll keep it nice and short because I know the phone dock's never the fun thing. Mate, what a great race! You've come back with every race, just being strong and. I've got an echo and email me here, so I should be. I'm going to be a bit awkward, but you come back
No
every
worries.
race being better and better. How is the GT4s out there tonight?
Thank you. Yeah, I always seem to lack a bit of pace in the practice and quali sessions, but throughout the races, I kind of pick up the pace and like get into the groove a bit. And yeah, always the second race seems to be a very good one for me. So maybe I should practice a little bit more next times to get away better. But yeah, I'm quite happy with today as well.
Yeah, I mean, last time we saw you in the GT3s at Donington, that always comes to my mind when I think of your name and in racing. So honestly, that's probably that always come back to. Would you almost say you had the very similar pace, or would you say you're a little bit off, or what would you kind of say for that one?
For this race, you mean? Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, compared to like Aaron and Gael, I was like half a second off for sure. But
Yeah.
I think the midfield was pretty close today again. So yeah, in there it's just like if you're 1/10 quicker, 1/10 slower, it makes a lot of lot of a difference. So yeah, I think I just progressed very nicely over the 2 races, and maybe I found that 1 or 2 tenths that made the difference in the end to get the P4 in the second race.
Yeah, it definitely looked like that. We've seen over the last couple of rounds of AMX, it's like if you're half a tenth faster, it's massive through a race. We see Vasquez being a tenth faster in quali, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, well done to him," well done. But you see it in a race, and you just think, "Wow, that's a lot of a difference." So when you see in that mid pack, it's so close in the quali times, then it comes in the race. It's huge. So it's good to see that mid pack being very strong, and it's great for a broadcast. And I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, that's true. It's super close. I think closer than ever, and yeah, you also see like a lot of packs building in the midfield, and like a lot of 4-driver, 5-driver like fighting packs, battling it out till the end. And I hope it makes it very exciting for the viewers. If you're in the pack, it's definitely super exciting, and maybe sometimes frightening as well. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun, and I try to stay out of trouble and get through cleanly, and that's also key, I think.
That's always the key in racing, I find, at this point, is if you keep that little bit of a clean race, you're pretty much almost guaranteed in that top 5 position. So yeah, awesome race tonight, mate. Who would you like to thank with all your sponsors and all your people?
Yeah, my parents again, they're watching, so hello to them. No sponsors yet, but maybe they'll change for next time.
Well, mate, awesome race tonight. We'll see you next time, maybe in the commentary box, and we'll see you around.
Maybe. Thank you. Cheers.
See ya.
And that wraps up our interviews for tonight. Of course, congratulations to Juan Blenot and Simon Demori for a great drive from both of them, of course. And we got some nice thoughts from Simon about the race itself. The battle between the mid-pack is, of course, the thing that we were paying the most attention to because of how intense it was. And we're going to pull up the overall results of tonight in just a second. But before we get into that, I just heard from production we're not going to have any results today. So sorry about that. I give you some false information. So before we close out tonight, I guess all we can really say is like, I want to get some final thoughts from you, some final thoughts from me, and then we can call it a night, have some well-deserved sleep. Although I don't know how much sleep we'll be getting with this much coffee in my veins.
I was going to say I'm on the water docker at the moment. So, but yeah, I think for a race like this race was probably the best way to start off AMX 10 and the weekend. Really, like you had just American tracks, but they always just like deliver. They never. It's never like one of those races you kind of go, oh, it's a bit boring. There was some sectors where it wasn't too great, but yeah, from both of those races, on Xfinity and the GT4s, it was just amazing. So yeah, I can't wait until these next weeks roll over and we get older and I get some more grey hairs on my facial hair, and yeah, it's going to be a good time for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Just as a reminder, we do have another race tomorrow, of course, before we round out the week, and then the next race will be on Tuesday. If you want to stay updated, we do have our socials down below. You can see that Instagram, Twitch, X, formerly known as Twitter. You can join our Discord whenever we have the links available. YouTube, if you're watching as well, you can follow for updates. We will be scheduling the live streams when they're about to happen. AMX Race website, of course, if you want to sign up for racing, you can always do it there. And if you want to experience more short form content, we also have the TikTok. So be sure to follow our socials. And what a night it has been. I'm trying to find words to put in my mouth. Hasn't worked so far. So I think we're just going to end it there. So from me over here in the studio alongside Connor, I think the only thing we can really say is good night and see you next time. Peace.
See you guys. Have a good one.